specialist.
And we're live. BJ kind of just worming his way in.
What?
Do we get to watch it on this one?
No, I can move the thing.
Consensus
Here.
is no.
Please don't cancer shame me.
Dead.
Dude. There.
Oh,
Do
interesting.
you feel?
I feel like I'm still right now.
Who are? Well, it's a little bit delayed. One of our guests
interesting.
didn't feel like wanted to watch, and then some other people don't feel comfortable watching themselves.
Well, it's interesting. It's like in a delay.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a delay. There's a delay on everything. The smallest delay I know of anything is the streaming service Mixer. That is Microsoft's answer. It is like 2-3 seconds. So, anyways, John,
Mitch,
I'm really happy to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, you were on. Do you remember when you were on though? Was it September?
It must have been September. Yeah, I think.
I remember I woke up really. That was back in the day when I was doing it myself. I remember I woke up super late.
Yeah, and you just had it in that side room.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And then yeah, that was.
The audio was all messed up.
Yep. The audio was messed up. I felt really bad because like my first real true guest was Roms, that I did myself, and the audio was messed up for that too. He did a really good DJ demo, I guess you'd say, and
Oh, cool.
I felt bad because like his audio was great, but the audio of us talking was really bad. And thank God Caleb came along, just slithered into my apartment one day and fixed everything.
Who did you get all this stuff from originally? Who?
Originally, Travis.
Travis was his
Severson,
name.
yeah,
Okay.
he was on here. I really want to get him on for episode 50,
Right, just be
like
like
the milestone.
origin story.
Yeah, I'd love to have. Well, he was my first one ever, like in my apartment.
Yeah.
And we did like 6 or 7 that were never filmed. They were live. We did a bunch that weren't ever put up on SoundCloud or anything. He just kept them. Some were put on SoundCloud. SoundCloud's kind of inactive now, but
But it was just like something you'd be like playing video games, or you'd just be like chatting or whatever, and flip it on, and it was kind of just like a hobby at first.
pretty much. The first time I did it, we were talking at Schmitty's Ore House, and we were just making each other laugh to the point where we were like crying. I'm like, people would want to listen to this.
Yeah.
I think. Probably not. There's a little bit of a, like, I'm kind of full of myself kind of thing.
Well, you have to be to get into this profession. I mean, look at Joe Rogan.
Is it dude, yeah, call me faux Rogan.
Real Rogan.
No, I'm not real Rogan. Real Rogan.
Working class Rogan.
Working class Rogan, yeah. That's funny. You sent me that picture of the
fish from
when
SpongeBob.
he makes fun of Joe Rogan. I was like, could you imagine working an office job like a schmuck? It's like 95% of his listeners are always in offices just going,
Or in their car driving from work.
or to work.
to
Yeah,
work.
like the dread is just building as you're walking in. And when I'm in my factory job and he makes fun of factory people, like just soulless machines just pounding away. It's like, yep. I mean, I love. Don't get me wrong. I love my job. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I look forward to going into it every day. Like there's structure to it.
Hey, thank goodness for that.
Yeah. Like I enjoy. There's times of the day I enjoy being told what to do, and there's times of the day where I want to not tell people what to do, but do my own thing, go at my own pace.
Have liberty to make like decisions like in good faith. If you think that's the best, I mean, you should be trusted to make that decision.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't bother me at all, like that I work factory and, someday the goal is to have this take over. Like
That's an awesome goal.
In the sunniest of realities. Mm-hmm. Like
Get some sunroof in there, yeah. Actually, I've seen some back there.
There are sun panels over there, but I don't know how cool it'd be to have in here. I kind of like the ambience of the dark area over here. It's split in the black and white.
Did
However,
you paint the ceiling yourself?
No, we do not follow segregation. We allow all creeds and races to come into whatever section of the room they want. Just because the walls are black.
I feel like I was just listening to a Bob Marley song about the same thing.
Dude. I'm not a Bob Marley fan.
Actually, it was Ziggy Marley, but
Welcome to the show.
thank you.
I'm just glad to have you back. But most importantly, the whole reason you're here is to talk about OJ's Twitter account.
Yeah. So I just found out about that yesterday, OJ.
Yeah.
The juice.
The juice is loose. Well, he's been loose for a while. and then he went back to prison because he tried to steal some of his memorabilia back.
Really?
And yeah, can you do me a favor and look up OJ's jail sentences, like how many times he's gone to jail?
I always just assumed he was like life in prison or dead.
No. Well, do you remember about the whole trial? Like what happened?
So like the trial, like that was part of like the one episode that we watched yesterday. Like that trial sentencing was,
What were you watching?
I don't remember the name of it, but it was episode 3. We were at Anna's friend's house, and there was it was literally like the suicide chase where like it was like a brigade of police cars like following him down the interstate, and then it was being broadcast everywhere. So like people that were watching TV started like flooding the bridges and going to his house, and were just like losing their minds to be like support OJ and all this stuff. It was crazy because it was before the internet, you know, and people have this kind of same reaction to things, even just when it was just being broadcast on TV as well.
Yeah, I wasn't like fully conscious when that was going on, but that was like 94, I believe.
94, yeah.
And I remember I remember Dad talking about it. Like,
Yeah, I remember the
vaguely.
adults talking about it, but like they didn't. I never realized the extensive IMDb. You know?
Oh yeah, he was a football player and then he became an actor.
Yeah, and he had like what 2 decades almost of like film. Like I looked that up for the first time yesterday. I'm like, oh my goodness.
He was in Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen, I think.
Yeah, that
He
was
in
probably
some
his most
comedies.
notable,
Yeah.
the one that I recognized. But no wonder there were so many people that were gushing, for lack of a better word, you know, and couldn't believe that he would do something like this.
Well, that was probably back when, like no one was carrying around phone cameras and could record every little thing.
That's also
and get in
true.
people's faces and then have them snap. I
Yeah.
mean, I've seen videos where Alec Baldwin can't get into an apartment. And he because people are just sitting there with cameras in his fucking face,
Flashing
and he
the
freaks
lights.
out, and
I
he's get the
would.
fuck out of my fucking face. And then they're like, oh, horrible bad boy Alec Baldwin at 68 years old has freak out. It's like he's probably just worked for 20 hours straight and he wants to go to bed. But
just
now,
wants to be normal for a second.
back then, right? But back then they couldn't capture that shit. So now this is a celebrity kind of freaking out, and this is like the first time, and he took it on the road too. Like he
Right.
just fucking freaked out and just drove down the road in that white Bronco, which they brought back, and yeah, the whole thing with his trial was the most famous thing was the phrase "if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit" or something like that.
Oh, that's from that trial?
Yes, because
wow.
they had him like dead to rights convicted.
Mm-hmm.
Like this guy fucking did it, nailed the coffin shut. And then one of the things, I think it was on the convicting side, the prosecution said, make him try the glove on that was at the murder scene. And they're like, no, we've got him. No, we've got enough evidence. It's like, no, this'll put him away for life. This is like 0 doubt conviction. I said, sir, we'd like you to try on the glove. He slips it on. It goes only about like halfway, and he goes. And you could hear the gasping in the room. And but you can see him. Apparently, you can see him like stretching his hand out. So he's going like, and they're like
Like an actor.
And they looked at it. Everybody looked at each other, and they said, "Well, we find you innocent." They fucking set him loose that day. Yeah, because that was it was either going to put him away for life or he was going to walk, and he walked. And that is where the influence for the bra episode of Seinfeld came, where they made her try it on.
And then he lost the civil case.
Let's sue her.
Well, he got sued for the death and then lost that in civil court as opposed to the...
OJ did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was making fun of Elaine when Elaine was
yeah,
like,
I know.
let's sue her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you got for how many times he was put away here?
I haven't really got a real timeline here. Like, I've just been kind of reading the Wikipedia.
And he's
over it.
living in Las Vegas now, just living his life.
I think so.
Well,
He's
that's
going
where
nuts.
he... 2007, that's where he like robbed the sports memorabilia place or whatever that supposedly had his stuff. Then he went to the prison for 9 years, just got released in 2017.
And his first tweet was like, I've got some revenge to take care of or some shit. I'm not joking.
This guy is...
He also published a book from prison that got taken immediately off the shelves because it was like flying off the shelves. It's called like If I Did It. And I'm pretty sure he might have done like one Facebook post ever. And it was like, if it was something like, am I glad she's dead? Did I do it? No. Am I glad she's dead? Sure. Or some shit like that.
Jesus.
It was Chris Rock's got a really funny bit about how his in his style where he like keeps repeating the same line, but he'll do a different joke, but then repeat the same line. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying he should have killed her, but I understand. He says when you, and then I think his closer of the joke of the bit was, he says if I make $250 million, or if I make $300 million a year, and I have to say goodbye to like a third of that, I might be okay with it. But if you make $30,000 and your wife sues you for a third, you might have to fucking kill her.
Oh man.
Yeah.
OJ, he's like that, like charismatic kind of thing, right? Like it almost reminded me of Ted Bundy, where he just like had this ability to manipulate people, and that was really interesting because he's still out, right? He's just living his life, and he's been able, because of his history, probably because of like being this, sports hero, being this movie hero. Like people want him to get out of jail. That even despite all the history, they still want to be able to see this. He still has this ability to sway the police, I guess. How many times did, there were like police reports and they'd come over and he'd just like schmooze them, and, they'd leave. Like how many times did his girlfriend get beat and she'd have like welts on her face? She'd go to the police and like, oh, you should see my bruises. Like, and the police, like if it was any other person, they would just completely annihilate, like do a pit maneuver or, just slam them to the ground. But
yeah. Did you notice how slow they were going on that chase?
yeah,
It was like 60 miles an hour.
That was like the
down
whole-
a Los Angeles freeway.
yeah, it was like a parade.
It was a quick parade. Yeah, he's a weird character, and there's no one else like that. Like you said, like you get away for how many times. Eventually, Bundy got the chair.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he did.
And he finally admitted it at the very end, but how many states did he jump and just keep jumping and jumping to, apparently,
Yeah, but with OJ, man, I followed him on Twitter, and like I haven't gotten many like notifications from him. I think he's only tweeted like 2 times. It's just a video. 3 times.
I was just giving a hand signal for 3 because he's done 3 videos so far. He hasn't done a text tweet yet. It's been all videos.
Huh. Might as well. Straightforward to the point.
Taking over the YouTube now. That's his next game.
Dude, I'd subscribe to him.
Oh my god.
That'd be like No, he
What's
never.
next for OJ?
No, he never. Who's the guy that just died? Manson. Charles Manson. Well, he died like a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
But he had a piece of ass in jail while he was in there too. Like, did you ever see the picture of Manson's girlfriend? It's pretty cute.
No.
Yeah. Rogan had a. What do you got?
I was just going to say, I also just recently saw that War Machine is married now in prison.
That UFC fighter that almost killed.
Yeah, that beat up
the porn star.
The porn star.
Yeah.
Like, almost to death.
There's some weird psychology that goes on with these guys where
Why
like
are
they're
women
in jail,
attracted to serial killers? Yeah.
like this dangerous type.
The worst part is she has a kid, and so he's technically the stepdad now.
War Machine.
After he almost beat someone to death.
Yeah, when he got convicted, didn't he start laughing or something in jail? I read
Apparently
that.
he's a nutbag.
Look at that. She's not bad looking. For Manson.
Yeah, in that Joe Rogan episode, they were talking about how he would like sell locks of his hair for like 5 or 10 grand or something.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, who's that guy from Wisconsin that would?
Geen.
And apparently they made a museum for him down in Milwaukee just recently that opened like in the last year or 2. There was this episode on Netflix about like strange tourist places that you can go, and that was one of the things that they were talking about. Like the demographic of the people that show up for this museum now that's opened are like middle-aged women, are like by far the most people that like come and actually check this out.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary to think about.
Dahmer's also from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Probably a Dahmer museum in Milwaukee.
Oh, Dahmer Museum. then, yeah.
Most definitely. And now we have the new one. What's the new one?
What?
From Manitowoc.
Oh, Stephen Avery.
Yeah, we have him now too.
Yeah, but that's
do
up in
it.
the air. He might not have done it. But I mean,
We got to let with season 3 come out on
Yeah.
Netflix, and we'll find out.
look at more recently. I mean, like the Boston Marathon bomber, like a bunch of school shooters and stuff. Like girls flock to them for some reason. I mean,
Why?
not all girls, but just
Not-
you always
not
see,
all
like,
women.
Oh my god.
But I'm sure there's a reverse for it for guys too. Like there's this fascination with women that.
I've
Sure, there was some
never.
dudes pining after Casey Anthony.
Oh my God, dude.
I'd show Casey.
What?
Listen, I'd give Casey Anthony another one to get rid of. I'll just say that.
Oh my God. You ever take a bath with her?
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude. She'll pop up in a meme every now and then, like when there's no lifeguard on duty, and she's sitting there like just got like this nuts face in court, like. But dude, yeah, like I've never gotten the hots for a fucking female serial killer or whatever.
Well, I guess not. I mean, I don't know what the equivalency would be. I feel like it's different. It's not like just women that are going around like.
My honest to God opinion is it's a man that takes control. Because I've asked a lot of girls, and they're like, the whole reason we like it when guys choke us and dominate us and shit is because it's a man who takes control. It's a man who takes charge. And that translates into confidence in their brain. And confidence equals security and dominant, strong genes for producing children.
Sure.
And I don't think there's much like that and guys just want to reproduce as much as possible. So, like, I don't think there's really an equivalency. I think you're right. Like,
yeah, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but yeah, there's definitely something to say about the danger aspect and what psychologically is happening because it's an observed phenomenon.
Yeah. No, it is. There's so many. I know tons of chicks that love the serial killer stuff, and I'm like, why? Like, I'm not trying to shame. Like, there's nothing wrong with watching that. It's like, why do we like Star Wars?
No, but it's
why do we like Lord of the Rings? Why do you like serial killer shit?
It's like a therapy thing. It's like a psychology thing. It's just like Sigmund Freud type stuff. Like, what is going on?
Why do women fall for serial killers?
Oh my goodness. Hey, Psychology Today.
Is there any answer in there? Also, I
read
needed
it.
I was going to say I needed to give a shout out to Blaine Christopher Dekoff. I hope I'm saying that right. It said, yo, Mitch. I'm not sure who that is. But he's friends with Brody Beasley. Okay. So I just need to give a shout out to him. But yeah, the whole thing with serial killers, man, I don't get it, and I kind of don't want to get it, and because I'm not sure I'd understand. I think if even a woman tried to explain it to me, I wouldn't. It's like something in their psychosis that deserves to have their attention, whereas me, I'd like a non-murderous woman, please.
But you should clarify. There are the ones who like want to bang Charles Manson, and then there are ones who are just like fascinated with the stories and stuff. Like, I like serial killers as far as like reading about them and watching documentaries and like, oh man, you know, what
like
did they do? What's the
Minds.
timeline? Yeah, that kind of stuff, getting inside their head. But like, I don't want to fuck Charles Manson.
Do you think it could be like a fantasy thing where you'd want to kill some people but you can't, so you live it through these people? Because there's murder in all of us.
Why can't I?
I don't know. You probably only got so much more time, so.
That's true. I'm dying.
No, I'm serious. Like, there's murder in all of us. Like,
we're animal instincts.
We're animal instincts. Yeah, our DNA is what, 0.5% away from chimps or monkeys. They murder all the time, and like it's in us, but we know that that's wrong, or well, we're conditioned to, or whatever. I might go to jail for saying this all, but I'm just saying, like, we want to do it, but we don't. But there's some of us who can't help it, and then that happens. You think like maybe that's a thing? You don't have to admit it.
People that can't help it, I wouldn't say that. I think there's people that either maybe like hereditary. I don't think it's hereditary, but like there's a one guy that was it the Columbine shooting? But like whatever guy that he had like a sniper and like the clock tower at this like university, and in his manifesto, apparently, allegedly, he wrote like, "There's something wrong with my head. Like, whoever does the autopsy, please like check my brain or whatever." And I think this was like Sam Harris, who I heard this from, but. They did the autopsy and they cut open his brain and they found a tumor that was pressing right up against his amygdala, I think, which is like the fear receptor. So it was impacting his, like the stress response, and like a normal person, they would like, oh, I'm going to kill people. No, like the brain goes off, like that's a bad idea. But because he had this tumor in his head that was actively suppressing that response, it had a different outcome then for his life.
Okay. Well, I mean, at that point, I feel like if you know you're fucking doing something, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of shitty.
Brains are weird.
That's no justification, obviously. Like, you do a bad thing, like you have to be punished. I mean, that's how society works. But it's interesting looking at the causes and where that stems from. A lot of like childhood trauma, you know, like unchecked childhood trauma that these people just grow up and then commit egregious acts that if it were just identified like, oh, nobody's caring for this kid, like they're not learning how to connect, you know, they're not learning how to feel emotions. Like this happens to kids. Like there was another thing on YouTube where it was like this like 4-year-old girl. It was like a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old and 2-year-old, and they got both adopted by this pastor couple. And the older daughter would like molest her younger brother and like stick needles in him and stuff. But like she was way too young to know, like that she shouldn't be doing it. Or I mean, like obviously, like she should know that, but because before that for like a solid 3 years there was no bonding, that she just did not have the ability to differentiate between right and wrong. And then so it was like this huge, it was interesting because they were able to rehabilitate her by the age of like 6 or 7, but it took a couple of years and they had to send her to a very, not like a boarding school, but some sort of place where they literally control like everything that you do, like by the 15-minute mark or whatever. You have to ask permission to, you know, be excused from the table or stuff like that. That I don't know. And then it was very interesting because at the end of the documentary or whatever, the reporter asked her how she felt about her past self from like 3 years ago or whatever. And she started crying about like how bad she felt about how she treated her brother and her parents and all this stuff, that she could finally empathize. But it was a very long road for her. So you got to wonder how many people, most of the people that I feel, kids that happened to, there's no, I mean, yeah, there's social services and stuff, but largely I feel like those things go unnoticed.
Was that the one that they, was that the one where they have clips of her when she was like that age where she was doing stuff and she was basically talking about how they locked her, like they had to lock her door at night because they were afraid of her getting out and doing something to them? Yeah, those clips are terrifying. Like, she's like, he's like, well, what do your parents do at night? She's like, they lock the door. He's like, why do they do that? Because they know I'm going to hurt them. And it's like, oh my God.
And these are real.
Yeah.
And she's so matter of fact of like, I will hurt people. And like, she just, there's no like response of like that. It's not registering like that. She shouldn't be saying that. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just gave me chills just now. Like, thinking about that.
Yeah, I mean, an adult does that, you think, oh, they're super messed up, but a child does that, then you have to like reconcile, like how does somebody so young come to this so quickly?
I'm surprised that you said they only took a couple of years to pull them back when they're so young.
Sure,
like, that's over half their lifetime that they were like that.
Yeah.
And how long were they conscious for, you know, but they still managed to remold them. And I wonder also if they get older, if there's going to be any more repressed stuff that comes awake at some point and has to be dealt with again.
Probably for the whole rest of her life.
Ugh.
And what about like somebody that maybe goes the first 30 years, maybe they're not totally messed up, but does it take 30 years to rehabilitate them then? Or can you get it in the turnaround time? You know, like you can't teach an old dog new tricks, you know, so is it the same thing for old people when you realize these blanks, I guess? Or like how they fell through the cracks? I don't know. I don't know. We can get Jordan Peterson on and ask him some questions.
I don't think BJ likes Jordan Peterson.
I don't.
Who do you like?
Milo Yiannopoulos.
Oh, God, no. Just in general? Or?
Like, I mean, like from that camp, you know, you got Jordan and Ben Shapiro and
I
Sam
hate
Harris.
Ben Shapiro with a passion.
Oh, yeah.
I think Ben Shapiro is probably one of the dumbest people on the internet.
He's my least favorite, like, commentator on socioeconomic, philosophical stuff.
It's like that video. I think I shared it. Mitch, you probably didn't see it, but it was like he was talking about, climate change. He's like, well, if the ocean levels start rising, why don't they just sell their houses and move? And then it cuts to a British guy's like, sell them to who? They're underwater. Is he going to sell them to Aquaman? Like, what?
Yeah, and I mean, like, just the interviews that I've watched with him, it seems like he's purposefully trying to engage the other person's emotions, which, like, if you're, like, being a good debater, you shouldn't be, like, actively trying to do that. It seems malicious from my perspective when he's engaging somebody all of a sudden, like, trying to trigger them. Well, obviously you're going to win the argument because now they're just mad. Like, they can't reason well. So almost on a technicality, then you like won the argument or whatever. Exactly. But that's not a good way to reason through life. I mean, and I just see him. He just seems like he's always angry. So
or he's
just got this look.
He's unhappy. Yeah, like.
Yeah, and he's very, like you said, he'll purposely get the person to be emotional, and then he'll say like, well, the facts don't care about your feelings. And it's like, well, but you made them get to that point because you keep saying things like purposely It's like, yeah, he's not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to stay out of that shit.
Jordan Peterson, I don't mind as much as far as like him as I just don't agree with Jordan Peterson.
I respect him though.
Yeah,
I don't agree
he's
with everything,
smart.
but I do
I
respect
just-
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like any of them really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just in general, people. Yeah.
Yeah.
him or
Humans.
any of those other fucking like people trying to keep the sides apart or whatever. But whatever. I've known you for 15 years. You were talking about that earlier. That's crazy.
So what is going on with this reunion?
Nothing. It's done. It's not happening.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Oh man.
No, it is. It's July 20th, isn't it?
21st.
What is it? No, it's the 20th, isn't it? I fucking put it in my phone. I had a dream. Yeah, it's the 20th. It's a
20th?
Saturday.
My bad.
Yeah, it is. You're bad. Hopefully, well, it's going to be crowded no matter what.
Yeah, they got like bands there that day. anyways.
Without our side showing up.
Right.
There's like 50 people invited. I think there's like 20 maybes, and I think there's like 6 or 7 people that said yes.
Good. I haven't looked at it since like that first week where we put it up.
No, it's okay. I'll make the announcements and stuff on it and like promote it a little bit more. Cause like I just had a couple more people accept my friend request from there. There's 90 kids in our class, and I'm only friends with like maybe half. I'm trying to like get in touch with the last few. I sent them messages and say, listen, despite what you think of me, we've got a 10-year reunion coming up, and I'd like you to be there.
I'm just trying to be the better person.
Yeah,
No big deal.
Yeah, God, it's been 10 years, and like.
Like, can we please just catch up for one day?
It is going to be really, really interesting, though.
I think it's weird how social media has totally changed how people feel about reunions like that.
Well, I mean, I don't think many people do want to go. People don't even want to leave their fucking house anymore. People don't want to go out anymore, leave. Like, people openly will, like, do stuff. They'll, like, hey, do you want to go to this or come to this? And some people even do it with this podcast. And they're like, yeah, totally. And then they'll be like, I just don't feel like going anywhere today. Like, I'll admit, I just want to get out of bed. And then, like, It's 5 in the afternoon. It's like, yeah, I've only been in here for 12 hours. I need some more. Like, okay, well, I used to get really mad at that, but then, I don't know their life. Maybe they're depressed because their cat looked at them weird, or, like, their dog shit on their face when they were sleeping, or whatever. Like, something might have happened, and I don't know their life. I don't know what they're going through, and I'm just like, I just go, okay. I've noticed that, like, getting upset for bailing and flaking never gets anybody anywhere. Like, recently I talked to somebody who was like, hey, we'll talk about this tomorrow. I said, great, I'll talk to you then. Never happened. I said, so are you gonna like talk about it? So I was just really busy. It was 3 days later or some shit. I'm like, yeah, you didn't have 3 days. So she says, okay, you're not allowed to get salty with me, Mitch. I've got shit going on. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you got going on. You say you're gonna do something and you didn't do it. I'm allowed to be salty. Like, you bailed on a commitment. And then she blocked me. So, like, you don't have to mean it when you... What's that?
There's both sides. Like, you don't have to mean it, but it's nice when people follow through. Like, if you don't got your word, what do you have?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I just, from now on, I'm going to say, okay, better luck next time. Because there's no loss if I don't get it. Like, if I say, oh, that's cool, fine. I didn't lose anything by that. I didn't lose pride or, like, respect. This person already doesn't respect me enough to keep the plans, so therefore, I'm just gonna dismiss them, and I just will not bother with them again, because obviously they think their time is more valuable than mine, and I'm not gonna fucking deal with that. But as far as like if they do decide to follow through with it, now I do have their word, and now I respect them again. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, and there's case by case issues if somebody has to go to the hospital or something. Like, you can't, like you said, you can't, like, hold them over the fire for it, because it's not going to get you anywhere. Like,
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
you might as well just read positivity into it instead of negativity. Or, like, you can, like, oh, I'm bailing on the plans. Like, that's kind of just a neutral statement. Like, you could see it negatively, but you could also see it positively as, like, oh, well, like, this person's getting done what they need to get done. Like, they're super busy, and I don't, want to get in the way. I don't want to feel like I'm more important than
Right.
making sure that the house is clean or something. Like, cause
Yeah.
I don't know.
I used to have this saying or feeling where I said, well, if you're, what was it? When you bail on, if just tell me you don't want to hang out. Just say, hey, I'm good. Just say I'm not. Get the nitroglycerin, man. Whew. Yeah. Was there a worm in there?
The last little bit, you see me cock my head back and just went down the wrong pipe.
Well, I used to tell people, I'm like, just tell me you don't want to fucking hang out anymore. Or not anymore, you're supposed to just stay. I'm like, oh, I didn't want to hurt your feelings. I'm like, you made me feel worse now. But when I realized, when I got right down to it, I'm like, it is not, you don't give a shit about my feelings. You're protecting your own guilt. But now I'm like, I'm the bad guy because I'm worse. But I haven't done that in a while. I just started saying, okay, that's cool. And then I just don't, the contact's done. Like, it's done. I don't, remember my 3-strike rule?
Yeah.
I just go, I'm not dealing with, I'm not going to ask you to hang out. I'm not going to ask you to do anything. I'm not going to ask you for favors or help you out when you need it or nothing. Like, it's done. But that's happened 3 times in a row. If it's like you bail on me 2 times and then all of a sudden it comes through, I'll reset it. But it's just like, I don't find that very respectful.
And even like 3, if, you know, maybe there's a reason, but especially 4. If it gets to 4, then you know for absolute certain this person is just blowing you off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. But as far as the reunion goes, I'll do what I can, and we can say that we tried.
Throw this all into a van, drive it out there, and then just have like, you could have like podcasts where you're like catching up with like
God
each of these
damn it,
like
no.
past classmates.
Clan base.
Clan base,
I am
yeah.
not gonna goddamn do a podcast at the thing. It's like cuts to my 5-10 year, and we're here, and we're like all in Hawaiian shirts and like sandals with a little like makeshift bamboo table, like do going on. There's parrots flying
We got a
by.
band. We got coffee mugs, you know. It's like a typical late night.
And we're here live. The torch is going. Yeah, dude. I don't know if I would do it live, but like, I definitely do want to get some pictures with people. I have speeches and stuff. Like, not
Really?
speeches, but like just some things I want to say. Definitely, I do want to say. I just, you know, obviously the stuttering here. The average. Well, I'm really happy to see you all, and the fact that last time I saw you, I see you got some drinks in your hand. This is kind of weird considering the last time I saw you guys, we weren't even close to being old enough to drink. And now we've lost a lot of hair, we've gained weight, and just...
But we're still here.
Yeah, but we're still here, and like, you guys made the effort, and that old line that I rip off all the time, I said you could be anywhere else in the world right now, but you chose to be right here. And that's cool.
What is that from?
I think Jay-Z said that. Actually, no, Jay-Z didn't say that. Mike Shinoda said it, but on a Jay-Z song.
Mike Shinoda.
Mike Shinoda, yeah, the rapper from Linkin Park.
I just watched, he came out with a video, I think today, of his 1-year anniversary of releasing Post Traumatic. So he released like the rough demo version of a music video that eventually came out later. But then it was like just a rough cut of just like, hey, just throwing this out here, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I just watched that earlier this morning.
I'm
It's a
glad
good
to
album,
see he's
actually.
still doing something. Yeah. I wouldn't expect any of that band to keep going after what happened.
Yeah, I don't know what the other guys are doing, but
I think they still tour. Because they did a show where... What's that?
I made a bad joke again.
Hey, what did Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell do before they died? They just hung out.
Jesus.
That's an old one. But, well, no, that's good to see that he's like, you know, keeping his hopes up and stuff.
You gotta stay busy.
Yeah.
I think that's what you realized.
Well, there's a video that comes up on Facebook once in a while where he'll just he sits at the piano in front of like this massive crowd and he goes, I want you guys, and he doesn't cry, which is I'm shocked, but he goes, I just want you guys to sing so loud that Chester can hear you.
Yeah.
And the whole crowd just, and he plays his part. It starts with one thing.
And the whole crowd.
He sings his part, and the crowd obviously sings with.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to Chester's part, he looks out at the crowd and lets them sing it. And
Be
I
the
was
voice.
like, that's what?
Be the voice of Chester.
Yeah.
You're giving me chills.
Yeah, sorry. It's saying too good there.
Now, you know how Avicii passed away, or whatever his name is, Tim, and now he's got a new album coming out.
Well, that they do that sometimes. Like, they do with bands and rappers where they've recorded how much stuff that they never released, and then I think whoever was worked closest with him, producer-wise or band or whatever, they'll assemble the rest of it, kind of, or try to assemble what they think he would have liked,
Right.
and then just shove it onto the market.
I'm not knocking it. It was a little bit weird to see it at first. It was because I had just watched that Black Mirror episode with Miley Cyrus, how like she was in a coma and then they like recreated her. Have you? I would definitely. I don't know if you like Black Mirror at all, but
I've never watched it.
watched the new season, but it's such a good show.
the new season was great. It was only 3 episodes, which
Yeah, that's what I
actually,
heard. Yeah.
it wasn't bad because then you can remember like past seasons, like they got 5 or 6 episodes, but then when you try to like recall back to it, you can't remember all of them, or I can't. But if you just keep it at 3, easier to remember, I guess. Then you have more to think about because it is separated. They're not throwing so much at you all at once. People typically binge it. You binge 5 episodes, 5 crazy ideas compared to 3. 3 is a little bit more manageable. And I mean, because they are trying to have like a social commentary, you know, so I think that it becomes much more directed that way if you're not overloading with crazy Twilight idea stuff.
Yeah, that whole thing of the binging. You can binge like I'd say How I Met Your Mother or Seinfeld
The Office.
or The Office. You can binge that. You bust a season in a day if you really tried. And gay porn. And if you, but like I'm watching Game of Thrones with my mom right now, and we do 2 episodes a day. So it's like a full length movie, or no, like 2 episodes a week. Yeah, every Wednesday. And there's one time she came over a little early, and she was so excited. She's like, "I want to do a 3rd one," and I almost did. And I'm like, "No, we should definitely like pull it back because you're gonna get overload.
Yep.
And then you're gonna forget some of the better. Like she likes the fact that it's only 2 because she can process both
Right.
of them.
Yep.
But it's enough where she can have fun with it, but not too much to where it's like, what did this happen? When did
Right.
this was this?
Exactly.
So we've been doing that, and I think that's a good idea for Black Mirror because I know Black Mirror is a pretty information.
Yeah.
like,
It just leaves you thinking
sensory-
afterwards. So it's just like maybe like watch an episode a day or whatever, you know. I think I binged the 2nd and 3rd episode together, but
bless you.
it is definitely gets you thinking about stuff, you know, and especially with that Miley Cyrus episode, she was put into a coma, and then like the whole premise kind of was that they were sucking, spoiler alerts, I guess I should say that, huh? Dang. Okay, sorry guys, goodbye. The same thing then happened, you know, I'm looking this stuff up on YouTube, and all of a sudden I see like a similar situation in real life from this episode of Black Mirror is now happening with Avicii, and it's not the same thing, but it's like, you know, so they have like these behind the scene videos, and I mean some of the songs they've been working on had been working on since as early as 2014 I had seen on some of the behind the scenes stuff, but the album's great, and I think they spent a lot of good time on it. It's just initially it kind of like struck me like this guy's dead, like who's collecting the money now, you know?
Well, I mean, dead Michael Jackson makes like a couple mil a year. He hasn't released anything new, but Tupac, after he died, came out with like 2 or 3 albums, just of shit that he never released.
Right.
And they just found all this stuff, and you know, I'm sure there's tons and tons of artists, not just music, but
Mac
like
Miller, he's
movies.
still coming out with songs. Yeah.
Well, he's not dead. He just wanted to break up with Ariana Grande.
In our hearts.
Yeah.
I thought Mac Miller was dead.
He is dead.
He's dead.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, you believe me?
I did.
Dude, I was joking. No, he's worm food, yeah.
Oh,
Well, I mean, yeah, he fucking... No, it wasn't suicide, was it? Accidental overdose?
Yeah, essentially, because he used to just have this like concoction that he'd make up, which was like alcohol, like an alcoholic mixer with like a bunch of fucking like
Bunch of pills.
prescription, drugs like ground up in there and shit, or like it was like the special concoction he would make that would like knock him out.
He fucking partied all the way to the hole. I mean, and just too much.
It's like Lil Peep.
Lil Peep, I heard, has a new one coming too, so...
Can I just say, I took a lot of heat for this back when Lil Peep died, But if you're gonna do something like fucking Xanax and you're a goddamn music artist, just get a fucking prescription. You know how easy that is? You got the it's not expensive. Just go get a fucking prescription. And he said he bought it off the street and bought fentanyl and then died because he was too lazy to go to the fucking doctor.
Jesus. Well, even like Xanax, people do Xanax.
You get fucking anxiety if you go to the doctor. That's why he couldn't do it. He was only 19 or something. Young people get anxiety. You can't blame him for that.
As he goes on stage in front of like
I don't
10 people. I don't know how
Right, there's probably a medic that was a doctor full-time staffed on the tour.
You know he wasn't as big and rich. He was going to be, is what I'm saying. Like, Peep was the next, like, big thing, and then he croaked.
Let me say, though, like, I hate that kind of music, but that dude actually had a good voice. Like, he
Yeah,
actually
and
nailed
it was emo, too. Like, it was emotional lyrics. So was, you don't have to say it's good, but the whole...
It's not bad.
But, Temptation? He mixed emo rock and roll with rap.
He was a scumbag, so.
Was he really? Dude, you can see the video of him getting, like, blown away.
He like beat the shit out of like his pregnant girlfriend or something, and then there's video of him talking about like, yeah, man, that fucking bitch is scared of me, blah blah blah. And then so somebody, I'm guessing she had probably a brother or something, blasted his ass, and now he's dead.
At a fucking stoplight. It was like a stoplight at he's buying a motorcycle. Somebody just walked up and bah, 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 and just drove off.
Damn.
It's on camera.
Did they ever find out who it was?
I don't know.
I bet that.
It's just a government.
It's just the guy.
It's always a government.
So
fucking Obama.
Sam Tripoli. Yes.
Who?
Fucking look up Sam Tripoli someday. Follow him. He's the best he's like better than Eddie Bravo when it comes to conspiracies. He's hilarious.
If you want to learn about conspiracies, watch Jimmy Dore. He's a comedian.
Jimmy Dore? Yeah, I know about Jimmy Dore.
I freaking love watching his.
He's funny.
He has a show now where it's just like, I think it's like pretty much daily, but he just blasts mainstream media. Just like, you guys are all fucking liars. The one thing I appreciate about Trump, he's right about fake news.
Yeah,
fake news.
Right. I remember the first time I heard that. I'm like, I fucking love that term. You're fake news.
He took that, but the thing is, he took that term and completely like
Shut up.
bastardized it.
Oh, definitely. Like
fake-
specifically, he would throw it at things where it's like, no, dude, you're lying. But like generally, when you just like, if you just take the general idea of fake news, it's just like, I never realized how bad the New York Times was until I was watching Jimmy Dore, and he just shows you, just lays it right out. Like, wow.
They're all terrible, but like fake news as a term was supposed to be like, Obama's a Muslim Brotherhood terrorist, like headlines, like on these like
Tabloids?
pretty much, or like the shit that was going on Facebook during the election, which was proven to be the Russians making up fake news articles, like Hillary Clinton's a fucking lizard person. And it's like, that's fake, but people are like, look, it's real. It's on fake blah 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 blah, like a 30-word .co.uk. whatever.
Right, it would be like
.Soviet.
Yeah, /blog, and then like another 500 words.
They had like the Cyrillic alphabet was in there too. I would love to get a Cyrillic keyboard. I don't know why, but I want a Cyrillic keyboard. My birthday's coming up.
Oh, let me just write that down.
Dude,
I don't even know what that is.
It's the Russian keyboard. It's the Russian alphabet. But they add words like every 2 years.
It's vodka.
It's just 5 letters.
It's the hammer and sickle.
It's just one button.
And it just types out everything for you. And it's just Putin going like.
It's got a speaker in it too, so when you hit it, it just goes, "Comrade."
Niet. There's a Russian girl that actually works with us, and but she's like super Americanized. I want to ask her if she knows any. I'm gonna say "Dos Vidania" to her today, which means goodbye. And "niet" means no, and "da" means
Niet.
yes. Niet.
Niet.
All right, so XXX, or is it 2 X's?
I think it's 3 because that's cooler.
XXX Tentacion. I called him Tentacoin the first time I saw it. I'm like, I can't read.
I thought it was Tenation.
Temptation. Is it Tenation or Temptation?
He's the Temptations.
He's the Temptation. Yeah, he got fucking shot, and then they had like an open casket funeral for him where his fans could just come by and look at him.
Or is that the guy on screen who did it?
Yeah, one of two. Yep, they've caught him because he was wearing orange sandals.
Oh.
And they saw them.
The Crocs got him.
They saw orange sandals on some security feed, and then they saw orange sandals on this guy's Instagram feed.
Oh
That's how they got him.
Did you ever hear about that story? I don't remember where. It was probably Florida, because it's always fucking Florida. Where a dude, literally, he was in a gang. He did like a shooting and killed a couple people, like rival gang members. And then they brought him for questioning. He had the fucking illustration of the shooting tattooed on his chest.
Oh.
And they're like, you fucking did it, you idiot. It's like, he had it actually, like, Key and Peele ended up did a skit making fun of it. But, like, yeah, the guy actually had it, like, tattooed, basically, like, I fucking killed this guy.
Like a confession tattooed on his chest.
It's like, that ain't me, dog. That ain't me. That's not mine.
That ain't me, bro.
Tattoo don't prove
That's
nothing.
not mine, dude.
You ever see that Key and Peele sketch, though?
No.
They bring in the guy, and he's, like, a rapper. He's like, you have a song called I Killed, and then whatever the guy's name is. He's like, man, that's just a coincidence. And he's like, and he plays the song. He's like, and then the officer, whatever, was interviewing me. I said, no, that's just a coincidence. It's just explaining everything going on. Oh,
That reminded me of the part in, what was it fucking called? The first Austin Powers, when they're asking him, he's like, in penis pump, that's not mine. That's not my bag. And then he published a book called Penis Pumps and Me.
Yeah.
Yes, and it says in parentheses, yes, that is my bag.
I think
you
I've seen
even
that one.
published a book saying it's your bag. Anyways, the reunion. We got a little off track.
No, that's all right. You know what I want to talk about? I can't tell you how excited I am for this. Literally jumped
Your
out of my
wedding!
seat.
He's engaged!
You're getting
Can I say
married?
that?
I'm getting married
Can I
to
say
Anna,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so it was like the day after Memorial Day. Do I jump into the story now or what?
No.
No, can't
long.
talk about it. We did the applause. It's over.
No, I was going to say Banjo-Kazooie. I don't know if that resonates with anybody, but I played that game as a kid, and when I seen that it was announced that they're going to be on Smash Bros, I freaking like lost my mind. I'm like, this is the moment.
Thank you, Phil Spencer,
Is that...
head of Xbox.
Oh, that's a very good point, yeah.
They own that now.
So I'm wondering if they're going to like remaster the first game and actually like re-release it on the Switch or something, because I would buy that. I would like buy a Switch just to like replay the first Banjo. Mitch is just like, I'm done.
I'm just looking at you.
Do you not like Banjo and Kazooie?
I've never played it.
Really?
You gave me
It's
a
fun.
code for like Nuts and Bolts or something. Or not Nuts and Bolts. You gave me a code for some game from Xbox. I played it for like 10 minutes. I'm like, I can't do this.
This is dumb.
I think I never played Nuts and Bolts, but I think that was like way different.
Nuts and Bolts, it was across the board ratings. Like some people hated it, some people loved it. It was like a good game, but they basically took all the intellectual property and repurposed it. So there was no reason to really have Banjo-Kazooie and the Witch and all the characters. They didn't have any connection really, because then all of a sudden you're buying cars or building cars that you can make into a plane, cross boat, cross whatever.
Crossboat.
And my brother played it and he liked it, but he himself would say like it's not a banjo game. It's like this other kind of game that's cool, but
But yeah, I never played it. I
I guess I just had to get that off my chest. I
Oh
don't
no,
know.
you're good, dude. You can talk about whatever you want. I just like. It's just speaking of things that won't die.
Speaking of things that won't die, I just saw this article on Facebook that said Brett Favre announces on Instagram he's coming out of retirement. Posted
Are you serious?
today. Yeah.
Isn't he a skeleton?
No, he's 49.
Thing is, I keep seeing.
So
He
almost.
posted a picture on his Instagram and it says, "True champion sticks to his or her calling. I'll come out of retirement, making my return to play in the NFL for the 2020 season. Stay tuned for more news." But then it says the post was later deleted and he hasn't issued any further statements. So
He was probably high on Vicodin again.
probably.
Yeah, I like remember seeing an article where some guy from like Rolling Stone or something went out to Brett Favre's ranch to interview him, and he was basically like he couldn't remember anything. He'd be like, "Where are you from again? What was your name?" And like, "Yeah, I used to play football. It was cool." But like, and just like, but like
Where were you?
completely like blank space, like couldn't like keep a train of thought going or anything.
Oh,
I wonder if
that
he's
sucks.
regressing now. Like he's like forgotten that he retired, so now he's like, "Oh, what do you mean I can't go on the
forgot.
field? You retired? Well, okay, I'll unretire then." You know, sends out a tweet,
Yeah.
but then like they snatch his phone away quick. Be like, "Brett, you."
Like, knock
did
it
this
off.
already.
They slap his hand. Knock it off, Brett. Here's money.
I'm only 27. I can come back out of retirement.
That seems
No,
crazy.
Brett, you're like 60.
How many years older than the next oldest quarterback would that make him?
What's Tom Brady, like
Maybe
44?
like 5 years.
Okay.
4 or 5 years. Or 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years can do a lot on a body.
Well,
though.
yeah, especially
Yeah.
in football.
Especially when he probably hasn't been doing. I mean, I'm sure he's still active, but like
He's in
not-
Wranglers.
he's not training camp active, like, you know.
Yeah, he wears Wranglers, dude. He's active.
There's a reason he stopped in the first place. Like I can't imagine that that's gonna go well for his. I mean, they already put him into the Hall of Fame now. They got to take like, can he be in the Hall of Fame and play at the same time, or do they gotta like?
I don't know.
I just want to say I doubt this actually happens.
Yeah, that's true.
What if he like just
What if?
becomes like a manager or something, some kind of a?
Oh, maybe
if
that's what he means.
If he like stays on as like something.
Maybe he's
That
a
actually-
coach.
That actually probably what it is because
be
he said he's just gonna be on the
insane.
field.
Because
If he became a head coach.
he could, but I don't think he's. Because I remember seeing an interview with like Aaron Rodgers, where like he basically was like, yeah, Brett Favre never fucking even talked to me, like as like he was like they're gonna transition over. So I don't know. I'm sure somebody would fucking hire him as like an offensive coordinator. Or something.
Yeah, that'd be good enough.
He
No,
was banging that cheerleader, probably lost all his money to his wife. So who knows? He probably
she
needs to
needed
come-
it for breast cancer.
Shit, oh God,
Well, she did. Deanna Favre,
you are. Please don't say the C word around me, sir.
crazy.
Yeah. Capricorn. Please don't say candy corn in front of me. It's
Why?
really gross.
Dude, I found a shoe that looked like a piece of candy corn you buy during.
So why do they make who likes candy?
Caleb, why were you shaking your head?
Dude,
I like them, but I just bite the white part off, and
So I'm sorry. Wait, isn't the white part in the very middle?
no, it's
No,
not.
it's the tip.
Oh,
I thought that was
It's
the
the middle of the tip.
No, the yellow part's the tip. Can you Google candy corn so we can see what it looks like?
Oh,
The
so
orange
it's
is
a
in the
white-
middle
Also,
and the
Caleb,
yellow's
why
the
were
bottom.
you shaking your head to all the Brett Favre reasoning? You don't think
He's
you'd
an
be good in
aficionado.
any?
He's got that CTE.
You don't
Those
think you don't think you could be good in any
He'd be
capacity?
awful as a coach.
Brett Favre's gonna show up on day one as a coach and be like, "All right, let's do this," and throw a basketball at somebody. We got
falls
this,
over.
guys.
Oh, you bit
Yeah,
the
white
tips
is the
off?
tip. I was right.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I was
I
wrong.
don't fucking think I don't.
So-
know.
That's the best part of it.
Yeah, why?
I don't know.
You can't. What's wrong with the? It's all the same
Racist.
flavor.
I don't know. It's kind of like Pop Tarts too. I'll like munch around the sides of it first, like that. Just
Okay, that I get. That I get.
then you have the best part of it. You save it for last.
Were you one of those freaks that would eat the wheat chunks out of the Lucky Charms and then just eat spoonful of marshmallow?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh.
I would just pick
Okay,
out.
I don't mind candy corn, but that's an abomination.
What's in
That's
the
a
middle?
bomb.
Banana.
Is that? That's what I was thinking. Is this showing up on screen for the viewer?
I wish.
Yeah, you should put it up.
All we're looking up is just an ear of candy corn, a full ear. Well, it's a piece of an ear, but I don't know what the hell that thing is in the middle there.
It's all the white.
That's
just
actually
mushed
how it
together
grows
now.
Oh,
naturally.
wait, you think? Yeah, I bet you that's okay. That's all the white part. They sawed off,
Of like a bunch more that you don't even see.
and then they molded it all. Oh,
Oh, you know what that probably is? It's probably like frozen yogurt or something.
that's not a bad idea.
It's kind of what it looks
I
like.
guarantee you, if you took one bite of that, that's your sugar intake for like the fucking week.
It looks like cookie dough.
Oh,
it
that
does.
could be too.
Mine.
God,
All
cookie
right,
dough's gross.
well, we're gonna have Weekend Adrenaline cooks, and we're gonna make that. And then you and BJ can eat it because it's fucking gross.
I don't like candy corn or cookie dough, so
You don't like cookie dough?
I had. Well, it's not the taste. It's every time I've eaten like raw cookie dough like twice in my life and gotten violently sick from it, so I cannot
Them raw eggs.
do it. That's fucking
Hey,
disgusting.
real
gross.
quick, Brad Cole just joined. Brad, if you're listening, could you please? Oh, he might be overseas at that point. Well, if he is overseas now, I appreciate you taking your. Oh my God, I appreciate you taking your time out to watch us or listen to us, and I hope you're doing well wherever you're at. We miss you.
Brad is listening.
Yeah, it says he's watching, or he just says he's watching right there.
Lack of buddies for life.
BJ,
Nice.
look at these ones.
I think, yeah, I still remember when we sat at the back of Shram's car at Alyssa's party, and it was like a couple of years after San Andreas came out. So I'm like, dude, this feels like we're riding through Grove Street, and he just goes, "Families, we here," because there was somebody that they would yell that whenever you would call for gang assistance, and. Like 5 guys would pull up in a fucking shitty car, be like, "Family, we're here." They all jump out and just start shooting. So think of 2003 animation on the PS2.
Yeah.
They just go, just start,
I want 2 number 9s.
yeah. There you go. He reacted to that. Yeah, you guys played San Andreas, right?
Yeah, I love that game.
Yeah.
I love Grand Theft Auto. It's so good. I want 2 number 9s, a number 10.
Well, like remember though when you would call for backup for the Grove families would roll up and be like, "Family, we're here," and they'd fucking jump out and just start shooting at whatever.
I just remember sitting there at Cluck and Bell or whatever, just eating as much as I could to get my guy real fat.
The burger shot.
Yeah.
Or the well-stacked pizza.
Or you try to go in a building and then you had to wait like 10 minutes for it to load.
Yep, on the
Inside of a building.
Yeah, on the PS2 version, you had to wait forever, and then in the on the Xbox X, the original Xbox version, it would load like that, but it took like a year.
It's because Xbox is superior.
Well, yeah.
The original was definitely. But
I still have my original Xbox copy of the game from 2000.
Imagine if Xbox actually had good games come out on it. It would be so good.
And you're saying this is an Xbox fan?
I'm an Xbox. I'm not a fan.
Well, you're a fan.
I prefer the Xbox over the PlayStation for literally everything. It's got better hardware. I like the operating system better, but they just don't have the exclusives. So.
Yeah, PlayStation is the exclusive.
That's why you get both.
But I mean, think about Xbox buying out all these studios and stuff. It might.
Yeah, we'll see.
Obsidian's game, Outer Worlds.
Hey, I'm waiting.
That's coming out on PlayStation because Xbox is like good people. Because that was
PlayStation's good people. I think.
I don't know. They've been shutting down the cross-platform play for a while. I've been trying to.
Yeah, but they have their reasons. It's business. Good for them. I say
Xbox is a business too.
Right, and they're doing things differently, so it's good for them also. The reunion.
If you think,
I have stock in Microsoft, so I guess I'm not.
What? Really?
Ooh, biased.
I can't contribute to the conversation currently.
Feel like San Andreas holds up better than 4?
What?
I'm gonna say maybe. Well, 4 was. I take 4. Grand Theft Auto 4 to me was like an experimental game. It was like they wanted to get away from. Remember when we were playing 4 and we made that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I take that as like they were trying to get away from a certain formula, and they gave it a shot, and it just quite didn't work out. But they did some things that paved the way towards 5. So it was like basically San Andreas is like 5 is like an amalgamation of the best parts of Vice City and San Andreas, but with the new mechanics and graphics and inner workings of 4. Mm-hmm. That's how I do it, or how I see it. But so yeah, the reunion. Anyways, to close off on that, I'm super excited. It's gonna be weird because people aren't gonna think about this. We're not gonna see them. You and me, maybe, depending on how you see things. We're not gonna see these people for who they are right now. We're gonna see them as just a little bit altered from who they were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So isn't that crazy that like you see yourself in the mirror? I see you as somebody, but I also see you. You have no facial hair. You have no lines on your face, and you have this big fucking Jew fro that I used to have also. I see you have that right now. You don't, but you do in my mind. And you probably see me as the same, whatever you saw me in the high school. And when we show up, that's what they're going to see probably.
Right.
Maybe.
At least we've like stayed connected for the last decade. You know, a lot of these people literally haven't laid eyes on them.
Yes.
Much less talked to them or had a conversation, so I'm really excited about that. I just wish that more people were excited to be able to have an opportunity to talk face to face all at one time.
Yeah, I was a little worried about that. Also, I have a feeling we're gonna leave. We're gonna feel really good while we're there, but I feel like we're gonna leave a little sad because no one's listening to this part that we're gonna scare away. But I cannot tell you how many people I've run into over the years that I haven't seen in years, and they're not the same. And that's good because you shouldn't be the same person for 10 years. But to see who they are now and just like how, because in my mind, those people are still who they are when we left in the May of 2009.
Right.
That's who they should be in my head. But in reality, reality changes everybody. And I was not the nicest person in high school, and I admit that. I freely admit that. And I hope to God that people like think, okay, he's going to be changed. He's going to be a little different. He's going to be a little nicer, hopefully. And they come into this with an open mind, just like we are.
Right. Yeah, and it's just going to be interesting. I mean, like, there's a lot of reflection, you know, like, what does 10 years do to somebody? You know, has there ever been another opportunity where you see so many people at one time that you are instantly going to, like, recognize and, like, resonate with because you still have, like, a solid 4 years plus that you spent with them, but at the same time, you haven't seen them for the last 10 years. It might have been on social media, and, like, that is a whole separate conversation, but, yeah, it's going to be... What is 10 years? What does a decade do to a class of people? You know, like, we all had these same experiences, the exact same experiences. Now we've all gone off in 90 different directions. And then coming back for a day, you know, like, what did this person do? What did that person do? What did they do differently? You know, because, yeah, I mean, we all had that same launching pad. So it'll be cool.
It's going to be really, I think it's going to be so much fun in certain aspects, considering the fact that none of us had smartphones when we left. But also, some of us didn't even have phones when we left. Some of us didn't even have cell phones.
I remember you had a cell phone. You were one of the first people to get a cell phone.
I was a freshman.
I remember you showing me your cell phone. I remember walking into, like...
It was the phone I had. It was a flip phone. It did not have texting. It had only calling, right? No camera on the front or back. And there was no screen on the fold screen on the front. It was 3 little lights, and they glowed green for a full charge. It flashed red when I was getting a call, and then it glowed red for it flashed red when I was getting a call. I think it glowed red when I had a missed call, and it was like orange when I was charging or some shit. But yeah, I broke it when I was sledding. Like, you gotta keep it with me. And I was like, you gotta keep it with you. You gotta keep it with you. I'm like, I don't want it. It's not safe. I was gonna, like, leave it in my car. It's like, it's not safe. And now we have, like, these, you know, piece of technology. Like, you go down the hill sledding. You're like, ah.
You're right, and you got
But
these
they're
outer
tough.
boxes and
They're
stuff.
tough. Yeah, they're tough. But
Yeah, well, now kids, they got it at, what, age 5 or 10 or whatever, so these families, these parents, these kids, like, they are getting, like, this tracker apps, and it's, like, a totally normal thing now that your parents just always have a GPS on you, you know? And it seems really weird because I think back to my childhood. I remember 5th grade, I got my bike, you know, or had the permission to bike to school. You know, I lived a mile and a half away, and I remember, like, that liberty was everything, you know. I would ride all the way up the parking garage, ride it all the way back down as a 5th grader. It wasn't, like, the worst thing, but it was, like, that freedom to make a decision, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, risk it for the biscuit or something. But I would bike out to the BP gas station on WH on Winnebago Drive and get baby bottle pops out there and then just walk on the trail, like, back in 5th grade. My parents had no idea where I was. Nor, like, did they really need to be worried. Obviously, I'm sitting here right now, you know, like, they raised me, right, you know. So I'm not saying that it's bad that these kids are growing up without that same level of privacy, but I am left to wonder what is going to be the effect a generation from now. You know, when they grow up now, like, they never experienced the ability to form that kind of trust. Because you need the privacy, the ability to build that. And if your parents are always looking, oh, Jimmy's got, hey, charge your phone. It says it's at 10% right now. Like, hey, I told you not to go over to Michael's house or whatever, you know? It's just like, what do kids start doing? Do they start, like, leaving their phone somewhere else and you can't reach them at all? Or, like, another thing I seen, I went to some families' residence, and they actually had, like, cameras set up, like, in the room. Like, they had, like, a 2-year-old and, like, a newborn. And this 2-year-old, like, it was a camera on the ceiling that, like, swiveled around, and you can control it from the iPad and have it on the TV. And I was, like, asking him about it. Like, how does she feel about it? Because, like, I think about it as somebody born in the 90s. Like, it seems weird to have a camera, like, always facing my bed. Like, that seems really weird. But he said that his daughter, feels weird when the camera's facing away. she feels much safer when the camera's facing her. And I just thought that it was such a strange, almost like flippant psychology, where we like put tape in front of our, like on the laptop or whatever, like exactly,
Yeah.
But
I'm sure that sentiment will change when she gets older.
the sentiment is definitely going to change, but we did not have that at all growing up.
Right.
So it's still, the sentiment will change, but it'll be just completely different now. So I don't know.
Do you think it'll become like a wave, like back and forth, where like one generation does it, the next generation, since they grew up with it, doesn't do it to their kids because they don't want to, do that? I think it'll become
That's, yeah, I
like
think
a
that,
pattern or something.
yeah.
Or you
It'll
think it'll
probably be
just
like a
more-
pendulum swinging back and forth.
Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, like that Black Mirror
Black
episode
Mirror
where you could like
episode.
see the contacts or
Yeah,
whatever
they
with her.
basically
Yeah.
had contacts or like an implant they put in the kid's eye, so the parent could see everything the kid saw.
Oh, weird.
And it got real fucked up. I won't spoil anything, but it's like a very
Ooh.
bleak outlook on the future.
I think that parenting today is a lot shittier than what we had because of technology's given us a lot of I'll say this, if I had a kid and to make him shut the hell up, if I just handed him my phone or my iPad, oh god, yeah, shut your mouth, because like the constant but then that creates a disconnect into which you were right, you don't form this trust with your child, and come 12 years old, okay, now they've got a bike or some shit.
Right.
If you're lucky enough to have a kid that even wants to go outside, away from his iPad and his snacks, like you have to you said you have to trust the kid to make good decisions, but you also first have to have the confidence that you raised that kid right.
Right.
Did you raise that kid right? Did
It's
you
a test.
discipline him when he deserved it? Did you reward him when he deserved it? Did you make him feel like this when he came home on time? Was that the correct decision? When he came home late, did you scold him or reprimand him? Did you do it so that he knows right from wrong? To not spray paint some bad word on a wall, or to like knock something over in a neighbor's yard and run away when it shatters? Like you have to, that has to be there, and that's not really anymore. I mean, I can't speak for parents, but I know quite a few that just shove fucking screens in front of their kids.
All right.
And then they have to be constantly surveyed because the parents don't trust them. Well, you haven't spent enough time with them, or face-to-face time or whatever,
Right.
to not literal FaceTime, face-to-face time.
Right.
It's not face. It's
In-person
FaceTime now.
time.
It's FaceTime with a registered trademark thing after it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but even in the 90s, I was watching Cable Guy last night, and that scene where it's like a flashback to his childhood, and his mom's leaving to the bar, and she's like, "All right, now, be good with Mr. Babysitter. I'm leaving now. Listen to Mr. Babysitter," and she was referring to the TV. And so it's like we have the phones and we're shoving them in kids' hands, and they got the internet now. But it was all, since TV, TV was like internet 1.0 or 0.0, like the TV was still kind of this being broadcast out to everybody. As long as you have like the receiver, the TV, then these kids are just being placed in front of it. I think one shift, now going back to like the privacy thing that we're already seeing, these kids aren't so attracted to gaining like their freedom. Like you have more and more kids that at the age of 16, they're like, I'll just wait till I'm 18 to get my driver's license. Like now they're not so concerned about having the freedom of like being able to just like leave whenever they want.
Well, a lot of anxiety about crashing their cars there too.
Yeah, I've talked
They
to
don't
people-
trust to themselves to
I've
make
talked
the
to people
decisions.
specifically, and that's the reason they give me. I can't drive a car. Are you kidding? I can't be behind a wheel. Just like,
I know
whoa.
people my age that refuse to drive on highways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that.
Do you remember when we went to Endgame and Nejla was like, this car ride was going to give me anxiety? I couldn't tell if she was talking about like, oh, I haven't seen BJ and Mitch in forever, it might be awkward on the drive there. Or if she meant like, oh, this car ride is because it's raining and it's dangerous, it's giving me anxiety.
That was probably it. Well, I mean, like,
Probably that.
Yeah, it was probably that. But I mean,
Yeah.
even like for me, like when I'm on a highway and I'm next to a semi, it's like the fucking like, oh god, what if its tire flew off right now and just fucking killed me? It's like I get why people. I mean, I still do it, but I totally get why people don't like driving.
Sure.
Especially on the highway, but in general, it's like
Well-
you could just die any second.
You're right. You're right. Well, that's like the. I hate to keep saying it, but Joe Rogan. My God. he says that there's perfectly rational to be a little nervous on the roads and highways because you're next to a killing machine. You're next to a giant
In a killing machine.
a thing of metal. Yeah, you're operating one. But then if all this shit was really murderous as everybody kind of as it could be, why isn't anyone just fucking? Why are the just piles not everywhere? It's like people. It's not rare, but it's semi-rare that a semi will crash into you.
Semi. I think it also has a lot to do with how the person was raised. Like, I mean, I drove like trucks out on the lake when I was 8 years old, like so I was around and drove, as a kid. So I wasn't when I was 15 and a half and had to go do my driver's license. It was like whatever. But like kids today, their parents are too busy probably being out the bars or doing whatever the fuck they're doing, and so it's like. I'm 16 and I've never set foot in a driver's seat of a car, so why the hell am I going to go get my license? Like, they probably don't trust themselves because they have no experience at all, and they don't have the parent to teach them how. I mean, that's oversimplifying for probably a lot of people, but that's probably a factor for a lot of them, I'd assume.
Well, you got both parents are working now. Like, is there time to be able to take the kid on the road and teach them like you'd be able to do a generation ago? Or, I don't know.
That was always something I always looked forward to with like thinking about having kids was because the first time, like he said, you go out on the lake if you're lucky enough, like Wisconsin, like that's like a rite of passage when you're like 12 or 13. Your dad takes you in a truck. He goes, okay, just fucking go nuts, but stay away from that black part over there.
No laws out here.
Yeah, right. And it's fun, and because it would be hard to tip a thing on the ice, especially because if you just hit brakes, you just slide. And then maybe a couple years later, or if you do it a couple years later, you go to a giant parking lot, and you just drive around a little bit and just get used to the pedals. And
that's what my grandpa did with me.
Yeah, and then it becomes like a little more strict, than you're on the real road, and then you got to start doing behind the wheel lessons.
So my grandpa, he taught me how to drive actually. When I was like 8, he would like sit me on his lap and we drive around parking lots, or I would just steer and he'd do the pedals. And then it was like 12 or 13, lived out in the country, so had like an old 88 Mazda something red and stick shift. And so like took a lot of time like teaching me like very slowly like how to use your mirrors, how to change gears. And it was a car, it was not forgiving. Like if you missed that sweet spot with the pedals, you'd stall the car. And but no, it's the story I'm getting at. So like now we're like graduating, we're like getting out to the highway, I'm starting to drive like 55 miles an hour, right? But I'm still like kind of uncomfortable, not sure what I'm doing. And we're going down this road, and we're coming up to this bend in the road that it's got like the yellow like turn, like, hey, it's coming up or whatever. And he's like, take your foot off the pedal. Take your, like talking about the gas. Well, I just took my foot off the pedals completely, like misunderstood what he said. So then, and it's like kind of happening pretty quick that we're coming into this bend. So then it hits. I did not brake. The entire car like 180 one way and then a full 360 the other way as we're like going around, and I don't know how, but we stayed on the road, and that was one of the scariest things. Like we didn't tell anybody. Like I just told the story at like my grandpa's 80th birthday. Nobody's ever heard that story before, and everyone's just like,
so this is the only second time you've ever told it?
Like publicly, yeah. I mean, it's like something like I'm sure I've told the story before, but like at least like in front of relatives and family, the fact that this happened, and John and Grandpa could have been gone 10 years ago or whatever. It's just like,
yeah. Then we wouldn't have had to do this episode.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I remember I drove into oncoming traffic with my mom once when she was teaching me, and she like fucking screamed and like grabbed the wheel and just went, oh my God, like. And it was like so anti-productive when I did it. The road that it was in, it was one of those weird ones where like instead of turning completely left and going, you had to like go way around traffic. The way it's set up, it was like Fond du Lac Avenue turning onto National Ave by the cemetery, by that bar.
Yeah.
And you had to like go way over. And Lauren Joy misses you too. And instead I drove like into the lane. There's no cars there. It was like Lauren Rent.
Lauren Rent.
there was no cars. It was like 8 in the after. It was like 8 p.m. on a Sunday. There's nobody out. And my mom went, Jesus Christ, oh my God. And she like, she shoved me and then just started doing this with the wheel.
Just wiggling it back and
Yeah.
forth, like making it so much worse.
Well,
Scaring everybody.
I think what she meant to do was, she
Push
screamed
you out of
loud
the driver's
enough,
seat and
was
slip over quick.
if she meant to scream enough, I would take my feet off the pedals, and then the car would just, as I covered more ground, it would just come to a halt. and then I absolutely hated driving with her ever since then. I only would drive with my dad from then till I got my license.
Mm-hmm.
I got my license.
Got the ladybug car.
She says, "Hi, John." I got my license like 3 months after I turned 16. Like I waited because I had that anxiety, but it was from my mother. It wasn't for traffic.
Yeah.
It was just for like the road, like her driving with people in general.
I was so excited to get it.
Yeah.
And now they got these self-driving cars come out. I'm excited for that as long as they don't take away my steering wheel.
He said he was gonna buy a Tesla.
Do it now. I mean, it's a mid-level whatever,
Can't now.
Get to 3.
Yeah, can't now.
He had the money for the down payment for it too. He's like, it's either this or the Tesla. And then I said, well, we could have done the podcast from the Tesla. The ultimate dude, people would be chasing us around the city just trying to get in that fucking baby.
I've seen a few around town.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
There's people in Fond du Lac with Teslas. I've seen them.
Yeah.
Let's get them on here. Please, if anyone is listening, all 4 of you, please get the goddamn people with the Teslas in here. Please. Okay.
Did you see that video that came out? There was that one.
The porn?
No, there's that girl that she makes like shitty robots. And that's what she's like known for. Simone, yeah.
Gertz or whatever.
And so like the video just came out today where she like bought a Tesla and then had a team of people that she picked out and like they converted it into a pickup truck. And then she like made it like a commercial, like a funny commercial at the end of it, like available nowhere. But it's like this sweet, like they cut the whole back end of it out, put like the floor in, and it's sweet,
Is she like a total gearhead? Like, is she doing it or she pay people to do it for her?
She's doing a lot. Like her whole thing is like she's not like trained, but like the idea that you can learn yourself if you're interested in it. You just apply yourself and like you learn through failure. Like so she has all these videos of like it just going completely wrong, but it's kind of funny and she enjoys the process and it continually makes her better. So now like she's up to this point where she's getting somebody from Germany to come over. She's getting somebody, I think she's from Sweden herself, some people from the United States to help her out. She's been on
She hot?
It's cute. She just had a brain tumor
I
too.
was just gonna say she recently has been fighting off like a brain tumor.
Yeah.
A lot of that going
She
on.
seems like a nice, genuine, cool personality YouTube star.
YouTube star.
Shout out to Simone.
Yeah. Sub and Bellamy,
Is it-
girl.
Cool truckla video.
Dude, you're engaged.
I am engaged.
I can't-
And we're going to Aruba next week.
Aruba.
I'm going to make this about me. I haven't been on vacation in like 4 years.
It's crazy, bro.
So Aruba.
So Aruba, yeah, we're leaving.
You said you were going to originally propose in Aruba too.
Yeah, so that was the idea,
Couldn't
and
wait.
no, it was the contract that we wrote out. It's like you want to be proposed, sign it up here, blah blah blah. I'm kidding, but the idea was
Consent contract?
the consent contract. Yeah. Okay, you want to get married? I want to get married, but I want to do it outside of the country. So like that was kind of my way to weasel like a trip into it, right? And so then we got the passports, we got the the flight and the Airbnb booked and everything. So it's like it's in the books. We're like doing it now, and so I wanted to get the element of surprise back. So then I kind of flipped it and we did it in Chicago instead.
It looks
Yeah.
like you could drive across that in like an hour maybe.
That's 100% correct. It's not a very big island. It's about the distance from like Fond du Lac to the south side of Milwaukee.
So you're about to see where it is.
It's about 30 miles off the coast of Venezuela.
We are
Still
here.
north of the equator.
We are here.
How long would it take to ride a bike there?
How long would it take? All right.
Do a distance check.
Directions.
So you go from Fond du Lac all the way down through Central America back up.
You have to avoid the cartels.
And then you'd have to take a bike onto the boat for 30 miles and just bike around the boat.
Bring your own water.
Well, you got the ocean right there. I'll just...
Drinking water. Like a lot of people when they go to like Mexico, they just stock up a bottle of water.
I think you can get there via bike.
Apparently they got like a real good water filtration system now. Just recently they upgraded it. But it's cool. They got
There's not a cycling. There's no cycling available. There is a walking option available. Cannot calculate walking directions from Fond du Lac to Aruba. Boy. Can we drive, please?
Take the Appalachia Trail.
Nope.
They don't have a ferry that goes there?
Can only fly.
There's got to be something 30 miles from the coast.
Boo. I know. It sucks. Come on, Google. You're not fun.
Aruba, Jamaica.
Because, okay, you could walk. Okay, feasibly. I have this up on the stream still.
Oh, cool.
Powers.
Let's see here.
Walk across the ocean.
Well, you could walk,
my God.
starting in Fond du Lac here. I mean, you could just walk all the way down here, go into Mexico. You can still
Across the
keep-
Panama Canal.
Yeah, you can keep walking all through here, all the way.
Join the caravan, but you're going the wrong direction, buddy.
Because then you can get all the way up here.
Do walking directions to there.
Covered wagon.
Calculate to there.
Oh my gosh, hold on.
Yeah, that's a good
So
idea.
you could get here, but then
What is that? What is that?
there's quite a bit of a swim
Oh, 30 miles?
from Cabo San
That's like
Roman.
1/3 of Cuba.
So I mean, it's doable.
Yeah, it's fucking
You
doable.
could do it.
I'm a pussy. Do it.
Hold on, you said let's do walking directions to this place. Directions?
What does that say? Puerto Muerte?
Puerto Muerte.
No.
I don't know.
That's
sounds
port,
sounds
port,
cool.
It's port of death.
Come on.
That's what Muerte.
Could not calculate.
Muerte.
Yeah.
Ah,
Is that an island too?
no, it's not.
I don't know. It sounds like a good like mortician.
Man,
That's Mortician's
Google
dead.
Maps
Yeah.
is failing really hard.
No, but they got a lot of cool things. They got, I mean, just all the beaches are really cool, and they got this national park that you take like 4-wheelers in there, and you can find these caves and these,
Yeah, don't get murdered.
what, like Punta Canta or whatever
Yeah,
is
they got
going on
this-
now.
They got this thing where you can take 30 pounds of cocaine and shove it up your butt and cross the border.
30 pounds? That's like half your body weight.
Exactly.
That's half of my body weight.
Yeah, so it's half your body weight. Jesus Christ. Well, what are you going to do there? Swim with the dolphins?
Swim.
I
We're
don't think
just.
there's any dolphins over there.
I don't think there's dolphins. No. I mean, I don't know. I didn't see anything. They got a bunch of lionfish apparently as an invasive species, so you can get that at about any restaurant.
Isn't that where, like, it's got the spikes on it?
They got like all these frilly things coming off the sides of it. It looks
Like-
like a mane almost.
Yeah.
You can get those in saltwater tanks. Like you can get those as a fish.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. That'd be raw. Like, there's a guy named Coyote Peterson on YouTube, and he, like, stings himself on purpose with stuff, and he, like, stuck his hand on one on purpose. But he, like, he didn't, like, pat it. He, like, put this part of his hand, he went, and, like, it went, you could see it go in. Yeah.
That sounds miserable.
It's just needles. There's no poison or anything, but it still hurt.
Yeah.
Drew Lewis is watching. Drew, come to the reunion.
Drew Lewis.
Come to the reunion July 20th at the Tiki Bar.
I remember when Drew Lewis and I used to be in
Percussion.
percussion together. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Class A drummer right there.
He started drums when we were in grade school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to get to the whole kit.
I gotta buy another kit. My whole thing has been disassembled. I turned the bass drum into a table and
Yeah, I remember you.
loaned my low tom out, and all the crash cymbals cracked.
Lauren, you didn't graduate with us, so you're not invited. I mean, if you want to show up, you want to drive all
Graduated
the
in
way
spirit.
there. Yeah. You only went to school with us for 2 years.
Nick Sugars is married now.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He just had his
know
wedding
that.
back in April, I think. I wasn't invited, but Tony was telling me about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
They have
mean,
a place called Bachelor's Beach.
Bachelor's Beach and Baby
It's
Beach
just
and Eagle
all-
Beach and
it's just all dudes.
it's a ton of beaches.
That's amazing. How close can I get?
They got- they
zoom
got
in on
these-
all the dudes. There's BJ right there.
They got this island with just flamingos on it. Which I don't think
Who's Emily? Emily's getting married this weekend. My parents are going. Who's Emily? Emily's getting married this.
You know Emily.
You know.
She was in our chemistry.
God damn it! Don't sad react. That you don't know who that is.
I know.
God damn it, PJ.
Just
Sad react to buy.
don't leave.
Please don't go.
Oh, Sugars. Oh, Emily Sugars. Okay, I think that's.
God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so that's I don't know how you say it, but Ericock, I don't know.
You just did.
Ericock. and they got like these like natural land bridges and these like pools and stuff where the water like splashes over the rocks, and then it's kind of like calm, and people like, you got a 4-wheel is like the only way to be able to get to it. Sounds pretty cool.
That is so
like,
cool.
Like caves that have like apparently like prehistoric cave drawings and paintings and
Oh,
stuff in
really?
it. Yeah, so I don't know a lot about it, but I'm really excited to
Nice.
like go find out the history of like how long ago it was. You know, I've never seen stuff like that
Yeah.
before.
The rarest cave. There's a documentary about it on Netflix, and I always meant to watch it. But apparently, the world's oldest cave painting is in France.
In France,
I didn't know that. Yeah,
Huh.
like the oldest one they found.
right?
You know, they find new shit all the time.
They
But-
do now. They're like,
Montana.
They found Montana.
Montana.
Josh lives in Montana.
Oh,
He's
sorry,
not coming
Tanya.
back.
no. I guess we'll have to take the party out to him.
Oh my God!
Montana's not a
90
bad
people
place.
show up at his fucking ranch in the mountains.
Destination
Well,
reunion.
dude. Yeah, I just hope like I want at least 5 people. That means 3 plus us.
Yeah, I mean, like if you and I get together and we get another 3 people that we haven't seen in a while, that sounds like a good party.
Be intimate.
It would be intimate. They got those
Intimate.
nice like hammock
Intimate.
chairs you can sit in and swing and
Yeah,
whatever.
like basically it's probably just gonna be us drinking and like talking to each other about like what have you been up to. That's it.
Stick your feet in the water.
I was gonna say, is anyone gonna actually go swimming, like dive in and shit?
I wouldn't, but I'm gonna sit in the water. You know,
Right.
like how we've done in
We've
the past.
done that, yeah. We did that last time we were there. Lauren, if you're still watching, you can come if you want. I was totally joking. It'd be nice to see you. I see you like once every 3 years or 2 years. Actually, she came into town, I think last spring, and Jared Wacos came out too because Jared and Lauren and I all used to hang out for a little bit.
Yeah.
And she got a motel, and it felt kind of weird, like walking up to this random door with a bunch of beer, and all of a sudden the door swings open. She's standing there. She's, "Oh my God, you haven't changed a bit." Like,
Aw.
well,
She still got
it
the
was in a
septum
good
piercing?
way. What?
The septum piercing.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like it was just neat to hear that, but at the same time, I'm like, oh God, that's not good. I got an angry react. But yeah,
Let's
it's.
trigger some people.
I'm super excited for it. It's like a month away now, and whoever shows up, shows up. Just whoever it is. Like, I feel like we're putting in the effort, but I feel like the next time we do this, maybe 15, that's going to be even bigger.
You think so, or the 20?
Yes.
The 15?
Well, I'd like to.
That would nice to be like every 5 years. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's
or
how
like,
it should be. But this is the snowball effect. I mean, I have learned that with this podcast, the couple times I did it, like nobody watched it.
Uh-huh.
And then after like a couple of times, people started talking about it. And now it's like, that's kind of what I'm getting known for around here.
Right.
Now we get pizza discounts.
Ooh, where?
Careful.
I didn't say where.
No, I guess we can say it.
Mancino's?
Huh?
I'm not gonna say where.
I just guessed.
What?
Oh, sure. You did what Mitch did during the last episode, where I said I didn't want to name certain things, and then he'd be like, "Oh, is it this?"
You're like,
That was a mistake. I was stupid.
What is
I mean,
that?
I am stupid, but what are we looking
Okay, I was
at?
falling into the game that I play a lot and just go around and look at random stuff on Google Maps.
I
It's
do
real
that.
God, that water looks deep and dangerous.
Somehow I was doing that on Google Maps and I made it up to the International Space Station. I kid you not. And I was actually doing like street view, you know, like how you like click through. But then I was like going through the hallways and into like the cupola or whatever they call it and shit.
One of the bedrooms
you're,
is weird.
You're definitely full of shit.
No, they got the moon. You can do like the moon and stuff on Google Earth.
Yeah, it's just like, how did you get up? Like, we haven't been back to the moon, but apparently Google can do it.
Oh, okay.
We've never been to the moon.
There's a reason we never went back.
Because there was aliens there the first time.
Did you see the movie First Man?
I did not, but it did
Come
look,
on.
it looked good though.
I bought it on 4K sight unseen. Come on, man, that's our boy, the guy who made La La Land.
Ryan Gosling or what?
Damien Chazelle.
Thank you. Yeah, I figured you'd want to see it someday.
Danny Chanel.
I don't know who this is.
Damien Chazelle also made Whiplash, the drumming
Oh,
movie.
yeah. You showed me that. That was a good movie.
Yeah. And then I watched La La Land, didn't like it, and then he convinced me to watch it again, and I re-liked it. And the First Man movie. And now he's making something else, but I don't think Gosling's involved. So, whatever.
It was like his go-to guy.
He's like 3 years older than me, I think. He's super
Yeah,
young.
it's interesting. Now we're at that age where the people that are doing these things are our age. It's always.
Makes you feel great about yourself.
I know. It's
Oh, dude,
like,
I was feeling like shit when I was like 18, and Lil Bow Wow, who's like 22, he's like, "It's my Franciscan marble room. I had it flown in, you know. This is where the PlayStation sits, and it's like on some back of some chick's head, and she's just got it.
She's just in a on all fours, and it
on
just
all
sits
fours.
there.
It's sitting on the
They
on her
rotate
lower
every 2
back.
hours.
Yeah, and she's like, she has to constantly like go look back like that. She's like, yeah, and you think I felt like shit when I was looking at that, or how bad our parents feel when they were watching Cribs. Britney Spears has like 6 helicopters on standby just to hang out.
Just so she doesn't feel lonely.
And your mom's got like a rusty Pinto.
Rusty. Rusty. But yeah, so what the fuck was I talking about before that? I had something. The movie. Oh, remember when you freaked out because you didn't want to know what Dunkirk was about? I sent you a
I'm
picture,
sure.
and it was just like waves. That's it.
And I'm like, how
were
dare you?
Oh my god, fuck you! I know.
I don't think I was like that, but I do remember when
I
you
know
sent me
about
that. I'm
Nolan's
like, no,
new
can't look
movie.
at it. What
Do you
is
wanna-
it? I do want to know, yeah.
It's a spy movie.
I heard the reports that he wanted to do, or they were trying to get him to do the James Bond.
It's not
he had
James Bond.
He had interest in doing a James Bond movie, so I'm not surprised that it's a different type of spy kind of thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think they have like 2 actors signed on for it already, but he plans to film it. I think this month or this fall,
Okay.
with a release of potentially next Christmas or some shit. But all his movies always come out in the summer. Every movie he's ever released was summer.
Interstellar came out in winter.
Nope. Oh wait, yeah, you're right. It came out in November.
Yeah.
Dunkirk was summer. Batman was summer. But Interstellar.
I can't remember the other ones, but I do remember seeing Interstellar in wintertime.
Yeah.
I showed you my Inception tattoo, right?
No. What?
Yeah.
No.
Inception tattoo?
It's a tattoo inside of a tattoo inside of a tattoo.
It is, no. It was just that little symbol.
I saw that on you like weeks ago, and I wasn't sure.
Where
I
is it?
thought
I
it was
couldn't
like
see
a
it.
private thing. Yeah, open your legs up, dude.
Spread those legs.
But it's like the first. It's the first. It's not that cool. I think it's really cool, but the scene where
I like
it's like one of his first Leonardo DiCaprio and Ellen Page, and it's like right before like everything starts exploding. Remember that? Like they're like sitting next to fruit and like at a diner or something, and he's like trying to explain like how you like build a dream world, and he's using this image to describe how perception and creation are like 2 sides of the same coin. Thank you, BJ. It's nice to see you.
Bye.
And then he like drew that symbol, and I thought that was cool just because that movie, for years we talked about that movie afterwards, and I just thought it appropriate. I can't name any other movie that's significantly changed the philosophy of how I like to view the world.
Fallout 4.
Fallout 4
God
one.
damn it.
He has to.
He mentions
had to get
Fallout
it in.
4 on every single episode, and including one where he just called in. He called in one time and was completely off topic, and he like held the phone up to the speaker. He's like, "Let me talk to you about fucking Fallout 4, okay?" Listen to me. And
That was good.
it
Shit.
was a good call in, yeah. What episode was that? Who was on our guest? It wasn't Danielle, was it?
Might have been.
Yeah, I think it was. But anyways, Inception really never like altered the way I thought, but it was just it was a really cool alternate way to like. He made me believe that it could happen.
It was just like that last scene, right? That it left the audience with this idea, and my personal interpretation, because he's never come out and said what it's supposed to be. But I think that was a signal to the audience to be like, are you dreaming right now? Are you sure? You know, and I like that idea, like, oh, you know, like not like we're dreaming right now in the same way that a dream exists, but that you have more control over your life. You don't have to worry so much about what other people think, is how I like to relate it to my life.
I like to view it as it's just another form of reality that can be accessed if you try hard enough. That's all I view it as a fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really take like a second lesson from it. I saw it as just the skill that existed in a fantasy world and it was very well founded.
It was.
And it was this it felt like I said, I felt like I could do it if I put my mind to it, kind of thing. Yeah.
Definitely.
What you got on there?
I'm just, man, like you said, I'm kind of just looking at a bunch of the islands down there.
Google
Yeah,
Earth.
Yeah.
They call them the ABC Islands. It's like Aruba, and then
Bermuda.
Barcelona. No, that can't be right.
Barcelona.
I was looking up at the Caymans
Caymans.
Correct.
Aruba, Barcelona,
Or, no,
Caymans.
Curacao.
because I found
That's what it
one
is.
from like
So
the Pirates of the
what is that?
Caribbean.
What is that island? Oh, never mind.
Which
Yeah.
one?
So right next to Curacao on the right, what is that? Starts with a B. That's why they call it the ABC Islands, but I can't remember what the B is.
Bonaire.
Bonaire, that's what it is. Yeah.
It's like something from Wind Waker.
Yeah.
It was like 6 years ago today that I took a picture of it when you loaned it to me.
Yeah.
Put it on Facebook and I said good to be back, and it was me on Red Lions.
Did you ever play Breath of the Wild or no?
No,
Are you excited about the second one coming out?
no.
No.
I'm going to get a Switch. My rule is I have to find a brand new Switch, brand new,
Uh-huh.
with either Zelda, one of the Zelda games, including or one or the other of either Breath of the Wild or Link's Awakening remastered, redo.
I do wanna play that, yeah.
Whatever it is. For under $300.
And have those games included, yeah. That's what I'm waiting.
One of those two games included.
So would you get a brand new Switch after they come out with the new model? Because you know that they're going to eventually.
Well, here's the thing: they were supposed to announce it at E3 this year, and
I thought they were going to. I was surprised that they didn't and didn't have more focus on like the VR kind of thing because they had that like
The
they
Labo.
Well, they had the Labo, but then they also had I don't know what to call it, an update or whatever that you could play Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey in virtual reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just surprised that they didn't flesh that out more. So I don't know. I don't know if they're actually going to come up with like headgear that you like mount the Switch in, like you mount it to like your TV console kind of thing, clip it in.
Well, all I want to do is like I don't like gimmicky shit like that, like the VR stuff.
Yeah.
I just want to play Zelda and possibly Mario Odyssey, but the Switch, I can't justify spending $360.
Right.
One
and they don't have
thing.
any bundles. That was what was most frustrating. Like if I could get it bundled for $300,
Yeah.
that's I
And
completely
it brand
agree with
new.
you.
I don't want to beauty anything used.
I was
Nothing
close
used.
to I was close to getting it, and that's what stopped me because they didn't have any bundles. It's just like, wait, it's not $300. It's going to be $400 after it's all said and done. To at least have a game to play on it.
Yeah.
You got to get remotes.
Yeah, especially
controllers or
when
whatever.
you're playing with more than one person. Like I'll be playing
Yeah.
single player
Yeah.
the whole time, so I don't want a bonus controller. I don't need one. But whereas you got to put even more into it. So
So I was at my brother's the other week, actually, I think last week, and he just got a new apartment.
nice.
And so, like, I went there on Tuesday and then slept overnight. He needed to go to work, but then had a package being delivered. So I stuck around, and he's like, oh, yeah, you can play the VR, do whatever you want. I got the Switch. So I'm like, okay, cool. And what I ended up playing was Last of Us. He has Last of Us remastered on the PS, or on the 4 he has.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sat down and I started playing through the campaign again, and it's so good.
On VR?
No, not on VR.
Oh,
Not on VR.
okay.
Just regular, right? But the remaster, because you had loaned me your PS3 back in the day.
Yep.
You remember that?
Yep.
Such a good game. And even playing it years later, and I'm playing the same, story plot. I'm having so much fun. I cannot wait for that second one to come out. I mean, they keep pushing it back. I'm surprised it's not out yet. I thought it
Rumors
was
are
released years
swirling
ago.
of a 2020 release date.
2020?
February of 2020.
I would buy whatever console I needed to be able to play there. I might have to borrow Jason's console.
It's just a
and-
PS4. I think they're gonna look to try to get it out. They're doing one last push on the new console.
I just saw someone on my Twitter feed post about that Brett Favre thing. It's funny. One of
What do you have to say?
It was just like a Brett Favre's coming back. What?
What?
The big fantasy football guy that I follow. I thought it was funny.
Did you see? So I just looked at your poster of it. Reminded me of Stephen King. Have you seen that trailer for that, The Shining
It?
sequel?
No, I
Dr.
haven't yet.
Doctor Sleep.
Doctor Sleep. Yeah,
I want to see it so
totally
bad.
blew. I did not realize that there was a sequel that he wrote back in 2013. I had to look it up after that. I'm like, oh, sure enough.
Who wrote the sequel?
Stephen King.
Stephen King. Oh yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say Kubrick didn't write any sequel.
And that's what's different because, like, obviously that movie was so famous because Stanley Kubrick directed it, right? There's actually 2 Shining movies. There's Stanley
Yep.
Kubrick did his version, but then there's this also other version that stayed a lot truer to the book. So I thought it was interesting how the the sequel movie that they're making now is like harkening back to the first like Stanley Kubrick Shining movie that people are familiar with, like with the carpet and the twins and the blood, like the same scenery from The Shining that everybody's familiar with. But I swear I remember, you know, we watched that that documentary, remember, like Room 243 or whatever it was?
Mm-hmm.
And
237.
237, and one of the things I'm pretty sure was from that documentary was saying like how Stephen King did not like that interpretation, how Stanley Kubrick made his book into a movie. Like, and like one of the first scenes is you see like the beetle, the correct color beetle from the book is like in an accident at the very beginning of the movie. It's like under a truck or
It's
something.
actually, well, you're right, but it's near the end of the movie. Actually.
Oh, that's the end of the movie? Sorry.
But yeah, it opens with them driving the wrong color.
Right, and that was like purposeful
Up
to
the
say like this is
pass.
my interpretation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is mine. And then later on, when Dick Halloran is driving up the road to go into the Overlook, he sees the overturned car with a semi-truck on top of it.
Mhm.
And that was a reference to, I think it's called Christine? No. There's a movie that I think Spielberg directed, but it was Stephen King who wrote it. It was about a truck that just chased people. And it was that model truck laying on top of the...
Weird.
Yeah, so it's like crushing. It's like he crushed it. A little message like
chase the entire
fuck
story
you.
down, yeah.
Like a little fuck you kind of thing. Both of your shit is, yeah.
So Stephen King wrote that first book in like the 70s or something, right?
yeah.
And so I'm wondering how much the movie influenced him writing the sequel now, 40 years later or whatever. That
Good point.
Yeah, I don't know, because I own the first one, but it's so thick and it's got such small font that I'm like, ugh.
Well, I mean, you could keep that. Is that like an original print or like one of the older editions?
It's an old book, yeah.
Okay, I would keep that and possibly try to find a little more updated with better font.
Yeah,
I just finished
or an audiobook.
or even better. I just finished.
Which reminds me, our plug. Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
Go ahead.
Audible is sponsoring this. If you just type in, promo code Mitch.
I'm gonna do a promotion. You got to do it right. Speaking of audiobooks, man, Audible. You heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you have. Audible is your one-stop shop for, let me read my notes. Audible is my one-stop shop for audiobooks, just audiobooks in the world. That's right. Everybody's using it. And right now, for our exclusive WA listeners, you get an exclusive code
You better stop.
for
I swear though.
0% off of your first purchase on us. That's right. 0% off when you type in code WA19.
I swear, Audible is like the official sponsor of YouTube. There's so many YouTubers
lot.
that like. Oh,
That
by
and
the way, Audible.
the
'Cause I think-
Robin
well,
Hood app, too.
I think they just let you sign up as like here, I'll sign up. Here's a code. Then you can just basically it's just a referral code.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you don't even have to make like an official deal with them. You
And-
can
Probably-
sponsor them if
yeah,
you
it's
want
probably
to.
just you probably just apply for like a.
Oh, maybe they got to like approve it. They like a Twitter, like official Twitter stamp or whatever.
Oh no, like they probably just submit like a thing like, hey, we want to do this, and they probably just spit you back like a code
Yeah.
or something.
Should get some like sponsors. I don't know. Is that a bad idea?
It's down the road.
We're down the road. I like where your head's at. But
Not as long as they're like
pizza
forcing you.
discounts are good enough for now. So we
You should plug it.
Well,
Yeah,
my
whatever, I don't know.
original plan was to go over there, grab a pizza box, eat it, and then just have it sitting like on the table the whole time.
Yeah.
And I saw his name pop up earlier, so it's just like, hey, little wink, wink, favor for each of you, because we went in one day and he saw us and he helped us out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. But we also gave him exposure because he played
Right.
at my fucking apartment.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that. That's like my little brag thing. Like, yeah, they played at my apartment.
Yeah.
And I was like, who are you?
It'll be cool when they come back and they can play in like the studio.
That's our goal,
Yeah.
is to be able to, because the shop beneath us closes at like 5 or 6.
Okay.
I would love to have them in at some point. We just got to get cleaned up.
Yeah, we gotta do some.
Yeah.
touch-ups.
And then we will definitely have not full musical acts, but like they're two instruments.
Well, I want to do.
Right.
I would like to do like weekly or monthly like live
Sessions.
Yeah, like live sessions,
Fuck
full
yeah.
bands and shit.
Like
Yeah,
have people come in.
Oh yeah,
Well, yeah, I originally had that idea, but I thought you'd shot it down.
maybe, but I thought about it more.
If you guys do that, I would love to come back and do the piano thing. You said that
Piano right over there.
I had the box in my car and I was debating because you had said like if you want to do anything, go right ahead. So I was debating, like that song I had shown you, that song that I had written, the lyrics, but I don't think I'd ever shown you like the song itself,
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I played through it a bunch today, trying to like warm up and get it back, but I'm like, why don't we wait for the next time where I can do like a few songs, not just one,
Sure.
and I'm like
Yeah,
a little
I
bit more
gave you-
confident.
Right. I didn't give you much like notice too. That was like right before I went to bed.
Yeah.
And I had to get up like 5 hours later to get my fucking teeth messed with. So, yeah, next time we have you, I'll give you some more notice, and then that way like, you can do pretty much this. What this is like we have a space where you can do anything you want now.
Right.
We have movable walls, for God's sake.
It's like a makerspace or like DIY kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, we had more or less this. This wasn't all set up when you were here, but like the skeleton of it was here.
Oh,
but
this is mostly. I mean, you had the walls up and everything. You got a lot more post ninja. I just seen that. Cool.
My ninja.
My ninja.
Yeah. But yeah, we that's up there.
And then Stranger Things 3 is coming out soon. 4th of July.
Hell yeah.
Stranger Things game was canceled, sadly.
Good.
Wasn't it like a?
Telltale.
It was like a
Did you
top
say
down.
good?
Yeah.
Why?
We don't need that.
It was like an 8-bit or 16-bit kind of thing, right?
No. Okay, there's actually 2 Stranger Things games coming.
Okay.
There's the Telltale one is canceled. The beat 'em up is still on its way.
So beat 'em up.
It's gonna be a beat 'em up, yeah.
That was probably the one that I'm thinking of, right?
I don't know.
So the first one that you said that was canceled, is that like an actual like 3D kind of thing?
Do you know what a Telltale game is?
No, I guess I don't.
It's basically the game just kind of plays for you, and then they'll like as a Walking Dead made it famous, and they're like, hey, we can't shoot this guy. He might not be infected. He might just be sick. And they're like, no, we got to shoot him. He might blah blah blah. It's like, well, what do you think? And they
Right.
look into the screen, and you have to like push a button, like kill him, spare him, let him go with like a day's worth of food or some shit. And each one actually like impacts your choices later on the road. Like if you let him go, someone in your team will like that, someone won't, and then he'll come back and eat one of them.
Oh, weird.
And then or something like that. Yeah, no, it's
similar to
that's
that.
like that, yeah.
Kind of like that.
But otherwise, yeah, they were gonna do that treatment for Stranger Things, and it got Telltale Games just got shut down. It was very, very sudden too. Like there's like 2 days of warning, and all of a sudden they're like goodbye,
Just
and all those
deleted
people
everything.
all those people lost jobs and shit.
Where are we now?
Oh, I'm just looking at. I don't know why I'm.
I think it's
looking at-
exploring.
I'm just exploring it. I'm in Montana because you guys said that earlier.
Montana. My buddy moved to Great Falls.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
Bozeman. Is that Phil Bozeman?
Bozeman sounds familiar. Bozeman, Montana. Now say horsefucker.
What was the one he?
South Park.
Where?
Great Falls.
Great Falls.
So, I have not seen the trailer for Dr. Sleep, but I have seen a screenshot where it's Danny Torrance, played by Ewan McGregor. He like looks around this corner and you can see the fucking door where the axe went through.
Yeah.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah. No, like the trailer, like the end of the trailer, he's actually like looking through the same hole that was made by
really?
the axe, and he's like looking into the hotel like from his house or
shit.
something like that.
What?
Yeah.
Google Earth.
There's like this crazy scene where he's like sitting like at the foot of his bed, like on the floor against like the headboard or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And he is just kind of balled up, and he's like looks real concerned, and I think he's looking at like a mirror that's like set on the other side, like on the floor.
Yeah.
And he's just looking at this mirror, and then the entire room rotates, and all of a sudden it's a 45-degree angle, and he slides straight into the mirror, and it's just like, whoa, what the?
Boy.
It was
Sounds
weird.
kind of cheesy.
I don't know
Does
because
he say what?
Cheesy. It sounds great.
Does he see red rum?
That was the first thing, because that's where I'm like, wait a minute, is this a Shining thing? Because like the first scene of the trailer is red rum written on like this wall in like one of the hotel rooms, and I'm like, and I like bit my tongue at first. I'm like, this can't be the Shining, but why would they put red rum in there? And then all of a sudden, you see the carpet. I'm like, oh my goodness, like it is actually happening.
Oh,
there.
the carpeting that was supposed to be like NASA, the moon landing or whatever.
yeah,
that?
one of those conspiracy things. Yeah,
Do you remember that? How like the
I remember
entire
something about the
setup-
carpet. Yeah,
The carpeting was set up. They did the side-by-side comparison of when Danny was playing with his trucks. It was completely set up how they had the launch pad for NASA, and then his shirt had the U.S. NASA rocket. So when he stood up, that was the rocket taking off.
What the fuck?
Yeah, man.
weird stuff. They got so
Fuck
many
yeah.
weird conspiracies.
Well,
on
yeah.
that.
Well, the dumbest one was that they had like 6 people on there all tell their theories about the movie.
Yeah.
Some of them were better than others, but most of them held water. Then you got this one bitch at the end who said, "Oh, it's actually all takes place on the island of Patmos, and the labyrinth is on Patmos in Greece, and that's where the Minotaur lives."
Oh yeah, I remember the Minotaur
And
thing.
they showed like the skiers' poles crossed, and they showed a Minotaur, but it like was so circumstantial that it barely resembled anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole there's a labyrinth, but like they said, like the hotel itself represents a labyrinth.
Yeah.
And Jack Torrance is the Minotaur, and the kid's name Danny, and the mom are like, the mom's the damsel in distress, and the child must rise up and overcome to defeat the Minotaur. But
Weird.
like that's so circumstantial. It's like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, get the hell out of here, man. Like, you're reaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool to compare it. You can see maybe like where the author Stephen King like drew his inspiration from.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much of an impact that actually means for what the movie's supposed to be saying. I don't know. I gotta watch it again, huh?
The
Or read the
Shining?
freaking book.
Well, like I said, try to find a copy where it like doesn't have such tiny print. You don't want to hurt your eyes.
Yeah.
The reason I brought that up is because I just finished Android's Dream of Electric Sheep, that inspired Blade Runner.
Yeah. You have talked about that. Yep. Good book.
It's depressing, but it's really good. Like the ending is way sadder than I thought it would be. Like tears of
Like-
sadness.
Like as sad as the end of Blade Runner.
Well, Blade Runner 1?
Yeah, when the guy gives the speech, bro.
Oh,
Pretty sad.
yeah. Yeah, it's more bleak, but like the bleakness is there, but like it actually like kind of seems it's looking up, but with like in the very last 2 pages something happens and it's just like, oh. And it's not like crushingly like like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. It's more of like a
So is there a sequel book, or did they just make a sequel movie?
they just made the sequel movie.
Oh.
Well, the sequel movie was going to be made like 4 years after, but it kept getting pushed back, and eventually it fell into development hell.
Yeah.
There were so many people against making the sequel because they thought it was so good
Yeah.
that they didn't want to fuck with it.
Yeah.
And then eventually the legacy built over it to the point where it was regarded as the best sci-fi ever made, and they're like, no one's touching it.
Right.
And finally, this new guy decided, I'm going to do it, and they kind of respected him from Arrival and his other films like Incendies and shit. To this day, the darkest movie I've ever seen, Incendies. And they gave him a shot, and I very much liked it. The box office is a box office disaster.
Was it really?
No one went and saw it. Me and my buddy Isaac, only people in the theater when we saw it. Opening night.
Oh, the sequel.
Yeah, 2049.
Really?
No
I
one went
didn't
and
see
saw
it in the
And that
theaters,
movie's-
but I was excited for
The
that
movie's
movie.
fantastic.
Yeah,
It's a good movie.
Got nominated for like 4 Oscars that year.
Yeah.
So good.
And there's swirlings of a third. They kind of leave it open as a third for the second one to
The
be a
snow
third.
falling. Yeah, it's kind of this open.
Well, with the they were raising their robot army, or the androids were going to rise up to fight that corporation that Jared Leto was running. Not Tyrell, but he
That's a
absorbed
good
Tyrell.
point. Jared Leto did not have as many scenes as I expected him to.
He should have had more.
I could see that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, on the DVD or the Blu-ray, it came with a bonus where they made a prequel, like 10-minute little video of him. He rolled out the first true Nexus 8, which is the
Yeah.
open-end lifespan, and he said, "Kill," and he said the android showed the android kill himself,
Yep.
And he
I
goes,
seen
"That's
that.
the ultimate form of God," or some shit.
Yeah, that was like a YouTube thing to like get people excited for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. And then they had the anime, and then they had the one where Sapper, like, is in the city and he beats up those guys, and then he runs back to his house. And that's the beginning of the film.
Crazy.
Yeah, I really liked it, and I mean, if they make a sequel, great. If not,
A threequel.
cool with it. Prequel. Well, fucking Ridley Scott is like 80, and he wants to make like 7 more Alien films. I'm like, dude, you're gonna be
When are you
dead.
gonna get to that? Yeah, you can write them and have other people produce it. Maybe I don't know.
He wants to direct them too. Like, he wants to be on set, like, doing shit, and I'm fine with it. I mean, I enjoyed Covenant, so, and Prometheus is really cool too. So,
But he's made a lot of bad recent movies too, hasn't he?
I think the death of his brother really affected him too.
Okay, I didn't know about that.
His brother jumped off a bridge one day. It was like 2011. Tony Scott, guy who directed Top Gun.
Oh, that's why he jumped
Mhm.
out.
What? No, he jumped out because he made Top Gun. The gayest movie in existence.
Is it?
Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. It's voted like every year gayest movie ever made, and it beats out actual gay movies. It's because of the volleyball scene. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Playing with the boys.
I've never actually.
It's 4
watched-
muscular dudes sweating, bronze tan skin, in jeans, and they're playing volleyball.
Well, now I definitely have to watch it.
Now
That
you
sounds-
fucking... Dude, I'm hard just thinking about it. Anyways.
So I got a plug.
Plug.
I just got a new, a gig, I guess, music thing.
Interesting.
You know how I used to play at the Arc? I would do that once a week for the clients there. So now, don't do that anymore. But I'm at Adult Day Services. I'm gonna be starting doing that once a month. Going
What's
in there
that?
with. It is actually it's pretty close to the WLA. It was like right across the bridge. There was that 2-story building that kind of connected to the parking lot of the hospital.
Yes.
So that building, that's called Adult Day Services.
Okay.
So then I'll just go in there once a month with my guitar. Or they got a piano there, and I can just jam and hang out with them and get them dancing and moving. It's a lot of older dementia
Yeah.
and special needs, kind of like that. So just playing old songs that remind them of their youth or something like that, And other songs just get them up, standing, moving, like therapy kind of stuff.
Yeah, just
So that'll be
anything
fun.
to move around in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So that'll be exciting. I mean, it's not like it's like, I guess maybe the gig is the wrong word, but it is a reoccurring monthly thing that will force me to continue exercising musically, where it's like if there's nothing going on, I'm not necessarily doing, practicing as much as I should be. Almost seems like the off season or something, but like having a consistent thing again, where working at Spectrum for the last year, I've kind of just focused on that. It's nice to start doing a music thing again, where it'll force me to learn an extra, half dozen songs every month or something.
So you want to record an album?
No, they're just covers. Like someday it'd be nice to actually like write enough songs to have a full album, but so far it's taken me 10 years to write one. So
Well,
Everyone,
just saying,
everyone at their own pace.
we're
by
here.
the time I'm 60, I'll have an EP ready.
Oh my gosh.
We're here.
We're
Just
here.
letting you know.
We're ready to go. We can
Yeah.
help write some stuff for you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
We?
What music software do you have?
What do you want to use?
I don't know.
I have Logic right now.
Oh, there you go.
I'm proficient in everything.
Okay. Yeah, I did 6 months of music engineering, and I liked Logic the best.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like Reaper actually. I don't know if you ever use that.
No, I've never heard of Reaper.
It's like one of the cheapest options, but like, it's like a kind of like I wouldn't say open source, but like because like it costs money. But the team that developed it kind of thought of everything when they put it in there. It's like the ultimate customizable thing, but it's like also the program that requires the most in-depth knowledge of the manual.
Yeah,
it's so good though. I can't speak highly enough about it.
Yeah, see, I'm not like so like technical, so I enjoyed GarageBand a lot, which
Yeah.
I know you're not supposed to, but
Well,
like
no, GarageBand's great, especially the new versions of that. So
yeah,
good.
and you can go to the
And then-
library. They got the Idea Studio down in the basement at the Fond du Lac Library,
Oh, nice.
and so like you have like 3D printers. They have like a kitchen. They
Oh my
have
God.
yeah, they have like a laser cutter. They have like all these different things. All you have to do is get like badging, which is basically like an hour class that you just go through like the manual, and they just give you like the introduction.
Yeah.
So then you get a badge and you can go back whenever you want and just use it yourself.
That's awesome.
So like 2 years ago, not this last year, but 2 years ago, I actually ended up spending a lot of time there because I wanted to learn more about 3D printing.
Yeah.
And then turned that into like the Christmas presents that I was getting for like making, like I was still getting Christmas presents, but like also make something means something else, you know, it's special, right? So like like my brother, he was watching Mr. Robot at the time, so I made like a Mr. Robot logo 3D printed thing. My sister, she was like an accountant, so I like printed off like this accounting tool that you can use, like this simple like T thing for making like super simple kind of stuff, but like a bunch of like potato bag clips and stuff like that, like simple stuff, but like going in there and they let you use it for free. They don't charge you anything to use the space. They don't charge you anything to use the materials.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you just have to like know how to do it. You have to be able to calibrate it and sync it and like be able to get your file in there. And but it's anyways. So my point was they have like a separate room which is like this tiny little like music studio where they got like a MacBook or the desktop Mac, and with like 2 keyboards plugged into it. GarageBand. It actually has, I'm pretty sure, like Pro Tools and Logic and everything. But
Nice. That's
yeah,
legit.
and it's like padded like this is, and yeah, you have a lot of high schoolers end up using the space mostly because after school or whatever, then they'll go work on their project, just like when I was in high school with Airfx and stuff. But it's just cool because these kids, like the idea of the library and have access to all these free books and CDs and all this information. It's cool that the library also has access to the ability to build, whether it's music or like a physical thing. Actually, the coolest thing that I made there, for my cousin Lauren's wedding gift, I seen this cool thing on YouTube where you just take like a 2x4 piece of wood and you cut it into like an 8-inch block, and then like I can't remember the exact dimensions, but you drill a hole like a third of the way down and then cut 2 45-degree angles, and it's like a wine bottle holder. So it like balances. You stick the wine bottle, it's like goes like this, and then the wine bottle goes like this, and it balances.
Yeah.
And so like I cut that myself, like at my house or whatever. But then to make it like a wedding gift, I took it to the Idea Studio and used the laser cutter, and was able to finally because I had gotten the badging a year ago, but then trying to figure out how to like put it into the system, and like I was like watching YouTube videos. I'm trying to get it done before they closed, but like got like this nice cursive like Phil and Lauren December 28th 2018, and like engraved it onto the bottom of this thing. It was just like super special. I'm very proud of it. I wish I could like make a bunch of them just to like give them as gifts, because it's simple, super simple. But where else would I get a laser cutter to do that?
Right.
Only at the library, I guess.
Oh my God. I have no idea that stuff was there. You should have 3D printed your ring.
I've seen people do that before.
Yeah, exactly.
They like 3D print it, and then they like dip it in like a certain like metal alloy that'll like seal it or whatever, and some pretty cool designs that I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, fuck this. I'm going 3D printing.
Get a 3D printer in here.
Oh my
They're
God.
cheap now. They're like what, $200-$300 for like a nice one.
They're not expensive.
What should
Not
we
anymore.
print?
We'll figure something out.
You can like
I'd
print
make a
like
dildo for sure.
these kind of things like break all the time, right? You just print a replacement. You don't have to get a whole new
Oh yeah.
speaker holder. You just
There you go.
I'm hungry. I need a spoon.
Oh my God.
We can print everything. We can print chairs.
You're right.
We'll print all our own chairs.
Yeah, I was gonna say then.
Industrial size.
No, don't throw. Yeah, dude, print me the Iron Throne.
Oh my god.
From Game of
You can make a
Thrones.
little one, definitely.
Dun, dun,
I could look that up right now, be able to get the file onto a USB, you plug it in, and it just goes.
You're insane.
Yeah.
My numbing is gone from my face. Finally. But nice plug.
You and I should actually go down to the Idea Studio. I'd like to like
I'd
show
fucking go with you.
Yeah, I think that would be a nice little field trip.
Yeah. Well, like we should do it on a day where we have like a good chunk of the day free, so I could get like you said the badging or whatever.
Like I already have the badging, so like you could do the badging because it's certain classes. So you'd have to we'd have to find like they do it twice a month or whatever. So you'd have to go on that day. But I already have the badging, so I can do everything. Like you and I can just work on it together. We can go through. And it's like a website. Like you can divide. Like they have CAD systems where you can build whatever you want from the ground up, and that's actually pretty simple too. But mostly it's just going on whatever website they have like for free. You download it onto the USB, and there's people that already made the throne or whatever.
Oh yeah. I'm sure it's a pretty common print.
Yeah.
The coding or whatever.
There was a really popular one that started turning some heads because people were 3D printing Groot. which is copyrighted.
Oh, okay.
So then there's like this whole thing, like, is it copyrighted? Because it was somebody that like designed it themselves, but it was based on a copyrighted material. And the fact that you could like 3D print this really cool. What was so cool about it is because it was Groot and it was a flower pot. So you could actually like plant a plant in it. So it's
Oh.
more than just a statue. It's actually something that you can use, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people thought that was really cool. A lot of people printed that for themselves. And then that kind of, I think that got taken down then. Just like the gun, 3D printed gun. Remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, just print one off, and just that way you don't have to take it to the, or you can non-traceable to the airport or something.
Whatever you need to do with it.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Been 2 hours. Got anything else to say? Plug, talk
Plug.
about, plug some holes.
No, not anything that's off the top of my head. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty more things that we can talk about, but
Yeah.
we don't have to do that on the camera.
Right. Some private, sensitive things. Well, I think I hope the reunion goes well and a bunch of people show up and we all have the courage to get out there and have some conversations, maybe get out of our comfort zone and realize that we are still, we went through 4 years together, and I know that was over 10 years ago, but I still think that bonds us together in a certain way for the rest of our lives, and I'd like to just kind of hold a little thing to remember that, and if it never happens again, that's fine with me, but to say that I at least, we at least tried to do this, that way we can say we tried and we put forth an effort, that way it won't haunt us.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was bothering me for a long time, and I finally just was like, you know what, I feel like we should at least give it a shot.
It's the worst that can happen.
Right. And I'm excited for your wedding. When is it?
2021.
What the fuck?
And you're in the
Really?
wedding party, yeah.
Why have to wait that long? I'm just kidding.
We're thinking
That
like...
is pretty far away, though.
So Anna, she's been looking at Airbnbs, so she wants to like do it that way. And there's like some deals, like she was looking, because you can rent the entire property, right? So if it's like this big like mansion or whatever, right, that's like on the lakeshore or a riverfront, or they got like multiple units or something on that same, you can have the entire wedding party stay there. Like you could like go to one of the local county parks. Like we're thinking up in like Door County, they have Cave Point County Park is right next to Whitefish Bay State Park, I think. But
Destination wedding.
But the county park, it costs like it's $25 or $75 to rent out like this gazebo that they have, which is real close to the shoreline. So assuming you have a nice day, you just get married on the shoreline, like next to a tree, whatever, like the wedding ceremony, and then like a reception, go to like out. I would like to see like going to like a brewery or something would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like renting out like an Airbnb then, because the guests, we can have the reception there.
Mhm.
Everybody can mingle, and then you can sleep there. You don't have to worry about people driving or whatever. And
I
then
would
people
drive to
save
like a Motel
costs
6 or something.
because then it's not like you have to pay for the reception and pay for like the hotel stay. It's like you can combine those two costs into one. So I'm hoping that'll save us a little bit of money at least.
Yeah. I would probably stay at like a Motel 6 or something, but that's just me. And staying in people's houses.
But yeah, going up to Door County, it could be anywhere. It could be down in Milwaukee. It sounds like it'll probably be Wisconsin. So
Mhm.
destination wedding, like a little bit, drive like an hour or two or something.
Sure.
But
I'll do it. I'd drive.
not in Fond du Lac, I don't think.
I'd drive across the world for you. And this guy's getting married also, Jared Sonnenfeld. That's in a couple months.
Coming up fast.
Mm-hmm. Better enjoy that little bit of time left, Jared. And then the real fun starts, because marriage is super fun.
Super exciting.
It's going to be exciting. Marriage is fine. I'm sure it is. Anyways, you got anything else? You?
Me?
Yeah.
Nah, man.
Okay.
I'm
When's your
solid.
next show?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah. Trying to do 2 a week now.
Cool.
Get the money out of the space. I mean, not making any money, but I'm not making any
Get
money.
the
That's
usage.
okay. Yeah, usage and
That's
the
true, yeah.
fun. Yeah. That way, like, yeah. So you were 45 today, episode 45.
Episode 45.
So tomorrow, Thursday will be 46. So in 2 weeks, if it all goes according to plan, we'll get in episode 50, and that's really cool to me. My goal was to just do 100 episodes, but like the fact that I'm here now,
Halfway?
yeah, I'm not gonna stop at 100. That was
Right.
like my ultimate goal. Like, but 50 is a big milestone.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest. I wanted to get my original host co-host on. Well, I was the co-host, and he was like the host, and that would be Travis. But I don't think he'll be able to make it because he's working on his wedding stuff too. Wedding planning season, I guess. And to get him to come all the way from Sheboygan to here would be kind of a tough scrape.
Tough ask.
Tough ask. Not to me or normal people, no, but for him, maybe.
Is it? Okay. Well, hopefully he's listening right now.
No, he's not. He hasn't watched these. I don't think he's watched a single one that I've done without him, but that's okay. I mean, I don't expect people to. It's just, I might run it by him. If he says maybe, then I'll assume, okay, I'll book somebody else. You know? Cool. Well, like, I mean, last week.
Excited about it.
Yeah, last week we were doing Jim and Kelly Zempel, and they both canceled, sadly, but. And
Jim Zempel?
Jim Lorigan.
Okay.
He canceled at least 2 days after I asked him, but Kelly canceled like a couple
How
hours
many times
before.
has Kelly canceled?
I think 3 now. That's okay.
It'd be cool if she got on.
Right.
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Well, she openly admitted at Walleye Weekend that she goes, Mitch, I really want to come on, but it's like kind of one of those things where I would just bail at the last second. And then she did that again, and I'm
Weird.
just like, oh man, I should have like. At that point, that's like shame on me.
Yeah.
It's like
He's got a double book so that even if she does show up, she's just extra.
book her with somebody else, right? You got at least two people coming.
Right.
She's like, wait, why is someone else here? You go, well, we expected you to cancel.
I did.
Yeah.
I did with her. I double booked. I booked her and Jim, and they both canceled. So it's like that's what happens even if you double book. But
Weird.
anyways, we should have double booked for tomorrow just in case because the guest for tomorrow has bailed before.
Tomorrow?
Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Who's all on Thursday?
Well, just one person.
Oh.
But I should have double booked
She's
just in
bailed
case.
before?
She's bailed on hanging out.
I can double book it because I had someone interested that you wanted to get on recently. Adam Webb. He said he's free Thursday.
Yeah,
and I said, well,
I made a
we're
list.
kind of booked up.
I made a list.
Yeah.
So, and he's on there. He's like he's the next one that I was going to ask.
Boom.
So it's good. Because I was going through my messages recently and saw that he was, unfortunately, I never got back to him, but that's on me.
I was talking to him about it
Cool.
last night at work.
Well,
So you're thinking about like local sponsors, or are you thinking about like national sponsors?
whatever you can get.
Because local sponsors would be kind of cool, just because it's like unique to Fond du Lac, and
Yes.
it's kind of like a Fond du Lac podcast right now, you know?
Well, I talked to the owner of Blanks Lake Air.
Yeah.
She's really big into CBD, and I asked if she'd want to come on. She said yes, but it's kind of one of those things where she said, "Oh, I'll check my schedule," and she never got back to me.
Yeah.
So
The owner of Victoria's Pet Supply is also super into CBD. Started his own CBD company actually years ago before that blew up.
yeah,
And he would be very, like, if you're looking for somebody that's like specifically educated about CBD,
Oh, yeah.
he would be the perfect guy to like ask. And he's like, his son actually went to WLA. He's a WLA family.
really.
Yeah. I can't. Anyways, but his name's TJ, and he would be real good.
TJ's Harbor.
Is that his last name? I don't know.
No,
his name.
I said TJ's Harbor because of the restaurant.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But if you could, kind of like, do you know him personally or?
I've had him show up for other stuff too. I've
Okay.
asked him to appear, and he's
If-
actually come through and showed up.
If you were able to like kind of show him this or like
Yeah.
send it to him now that you have the YouTube, if you could like just share the name
Yeah.
and have him check it out at his own pace.
He's all about like doing the video stuff. He's like I think he
Yeah.
does his own vlog actually.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well then like we'll connect somehow then.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
tell
get
him my
you-
name.
Or at least you get you guys like on the same page and know
Yeah.
like what his Facebook or your Facebook
Yeah,
is.
yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this coming Thursday, we are going to have Danielle come on, Danielle Milky. She was responsible for that 30,000 view video.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Well, she deleted her Facebook for a while because she says she's going through some stuff, and so it'll be hard to tag her, but I'm pretty sure it's just her presence and energy that got the views. So we'll have to see what happens then.
That still hasn't happened with anybody else.
And the stars aligned that
No.
day.
The
He
stars.
likes to put it on her, but I think the stars just kind of aligned in our favor that day.
What do you think it was?
Luck that we had enough of our friends watching at the same time to get pushed into bigger streams as a
next
recommended video. Yeah.
Category, yeah. Like we had last week or the week before the dating one. I think we had like 15, 16.
we were close.
Yeah.
I felt like we were right on the cusp
Yeah.
of getting pushed.
I did too. My heart was actually pounding. Oh my God, it's gonna happen again.
We needed to maintain.
So 15 is a sweet spot.
think so.
That's what we're feeling like. You know, once you get to 15, if you get up to 20, then you're going to start getting pushed in
Yeah.
to a higher tier.
So I mean, that's something that you can
Bot.
not bot, but if you
Cheat.
if you do have like enough of your friends where you're like, hey, can you please just like turn on your computer? You
Well,
don't have to be watching it,
right.
but just let it
Funny you
stream in
should
the
mention
background.
that. Because we're going to.
Turn on 7 computers.
Well, no, we're gonna hit that invite all button before I forget.
Oh, that's a good idea.
But because we did that with Icy Driveway, and it took me 3 years to get to like 300 likes for Weekend Adrenaline because I only invited my friends.
Yeah.
We hit invite all on my friends, BJ's friends, and Caleb's, and we got up to 300 and maybe it's been
Like 2 weeks.
maybe it hasn't even been around a month,
Yeah.
and it's just the studio name. We're just getting it out there, and it climbed up to that already.
Yeah.
So we're super excited about that, like the numbers and everything. But that whole Danielle video, like we stop at around 2 hours, but it goes to 2:20 because it's just basically us all. Well, it's me freaking out mostly, but they
it's
started
like-
like, oh my God, it keeps going up. It keeps going up. It's like 150, 190, 2. Like I took screenshots of like I was freaking out at 9.
Mm-hmm.
Just 9 views because it's the highest we've ever done.
Oh, yeah, that was the day we pushed up, and then we kept pushing. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
man, it just keeps going.
I was sweating.
We topped out at 180 concurrent
Yeah.
viewers.
Concurrent.
Yeah.
And then when we stopped, it was like at 29,000. I'm like, that's a mistake.
I'm like, nah.
And then it got up to like 35K. It's like sitting
And
right there.
like 2 hours afterwards, it was at 31, and then they must have gotten, however many more afterwards.
There were people that added me and said, I don't know if you know this, but your podcast went out to the whole world.
Weird. Did you use like hashtags and stuff? Do you do that on
No.
Facebook?
Well,
You can do it,
but
like
it's
tags?
never worked.
Okay.
You've tried it before?
Yeah.
You should start doing it again more.
I'll try, yeah.
Just like find the top things for the day and put that
You
in there.
really? I've heard of plenty of.
We've never
people
even.
do that.
So you're not talking about Trump again? Or it's like, no, you're not talking about border security. Nope.
But like, how high did that Corey Detman one go? Because the whole WLA thing that almost made national news, if it didn't actually. I'm not totally sure, but
It would take me a while to find those, but I mean, I could try to find it again in the backlog. But it
Which WLA
got some
thing?
attention.
there's a Corey Detman that was like with his dad.
Oh yeah,
this
that
whole
thing.
situation
He
that we
didn't
don't
really
need to
talk
go
about
into.
it. He didn't really talk about
Oh, he
it
didn't?
in depth on
A
it.
27-year-old man has been arrested in Takushima, Japan, I think I'm assuming. Yeah, Japanese man. Have been found with 50 MDMA ecstasy tablets in his possession,
God.
most of them shaped like Wario.
Wario.
That's awesome because
Yeah,
W upside
so-
down. Hey,
Let's check
at that
it out.
point, why not just make it Mario? MDMA.
Where's my damn video? Where am I?
Eventually, like,
I can't find
there's
anything.
events in Fond du Lac, right? And before that event happens, whatever it is, if it's just like a band playing somewhere, like Walleye Weekend's ramping up, you can have, like the like Fondue Fest, right? And that's organized by the Downtown Fond du Lac Partnership.
Right.
And like have them come on for 2 hours and just talk about, like in Fond du Lac, they got like one thing that I think is really cool that's happened recently is they got all those electrical boxes that they put the different decals on or whatever with different artists
I do like
locally.
those.
And it's a lot nicer to look at than like those green boxes. But it would be cool to like find out like how that all kind of like came about, Not necessarily, I don't know who that would interest, but
It interests me.
it sounds interesting. But yeah, like to be able to give publicity to whatever event that's coming up or whatever group that is looking for that, just like with Northville coming on, to like do a lot of that kind of stuff.
The Corey Detman one got 324.
Okay.
Out of curiosity.
Because I remember my sister even saying she tuned into that one, Caitlin Capsule,
Yeah.
and she tuned into that specifically to see if he was going to talk about it or not.
I think he did a little bit, but I think he shied away from the.
I
Yeah,
can
he
understand
like
why
kind
he
of he's just said like he's not going to go into detail
He
about
skirted
anything.
around it.
did. Yeah. Well, he had originally like posted like the full like letter from WLA, and then that got taken down like an hour later, probably because his dad yelled at him or something. But yeah.
The Danielle one is sitting at 30.1 thousand. 30,100, I think that means. Yeah, so don't be discouraged if yours doesn't go that high.
Nobody knows who I am.
That's okay. Yeah, you're kind of not on Facebook too much anymore, but that's is that good or bad? Like, do you feel better about that?
I personally feel a lot better. Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
everyone that reports that. I mean, when did I stop going on Facebook? It was after that. I think it was shortly after the Parkland shooting. Actually, I remember specifically because a lot of people were posting about that, and I remember specifically there was one person that had made some triggering, sentence about it, and it had 400 plus comments on a status. And I remember spending a solid almost 45 minutes to an hour like just scrolling through all the separate rabbit holes on this one status and all the different comment threads.
It's a time waster.
And all the way to the end to see like all these different arguments, all these different like points of view didn't resolve anybody. They just argued with each other. And by the end of it, after all 400 comments, nobody's position changed.
Well, it's not supposed to. It's the internet. You're not going to change somebody through a keyboard and a screen.
Exactly. And that's where it's just like, why are we spending so much time doing that then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say, let people do what they want and then use it for what you enjoy. But if you're not getting any enjoyment out of it, pip it out of your life.
Right. Still go to Reddit. I love lurking around the
sure,
comments on
Reddit's
Reddit.
fine. I mean, but then again, it can be the same thing.
You know who the arguments on the Facebook threads are for? It's the people reading them. You're not trying to change the person that you're arguing with. You're trying to sway the audience's
That's
mind.
That's very insightful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what really bothers me is sometimes I'll be like ready to go to bed and I'll just pop open Facebook and all of a sudden like 50 minutes later all I have done is scroll down.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for like that next little thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, I've gotten a lot better at it. Like when I realize it, when I become self-aware, I'll like turn my phone off or pop open the music and turn that on and then go into bed and then shut it off.
Yeah.
So I'm super good at like becoming self-aware of it. Behavior is so important about that, especially with something as addictive as that. It's like fucking cocaine.
Now it's YouTube.
YouTube.
I swear to goodness. I watch my videos at 1.5 speed now. Like I'm a crack addict to YouTube.
Jesus.
So now I can fit 3 videos in the space of 2 videos. It's buy 2 get 1 free now. I'm just consuming it so fast.
Are you gonna be the fucking person that listens to something on different headphones?
I have one video in one ear, the other video in the other ear, and I take my phone and stick it up my ass.
You just,
That's how you know I'm an addict.
or no, when you're a true addict is when you have 2 devices. Well, like no,
Hello?
I know that that's bad because my dad has it set up that way. But he's been doing that since the fucking 90s.
Like the TV, but then he's got the radio going on.
He's got the TV here and then the radio here. That was 2000 because my mom bought that. It was called a CC radio.
Uh-huh.
And it was a special kind of like programmable. It was like one of the first of its kind. It didn't really take off, but it sat here and he would have the TV certain volume, and when he went to prioritize one, he would just change volumes. And I noticed that a lot. But with my, when I would play video games in my room, it would be on the tube TV, just by itself, didn't have a phone. My flip phone, sitting on the windowsill next to me. That was it. Nothing else. Then, when smartphones came along, I wouldn't watch YouTube, but I would have like music playing off of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I was like, wait, I gotta have my laptop open. But that started because I was watching a guide for something on the video game, right? So I'd be watching something and like, I'm like, well, I can have music playing through here, so I don't have the guide and the music and the TV. The worst I'd ever been, was I'd have the TV going, the main game. I would have YouTube going over here, and then I would have a fucking Netflix special, but it was on my iPad and it was sitting over here.
Dude,
and then
that's the way you gotta live.
I had one more. I had the 3DS open so that when the game was loading, I would fuck around on the 3DS. So there's no pausing.
There's no way that you could be possibly bored.
Just
I cannot be bored. Like, you're just so scared of being lonely.
Dude, when I fucking play Destiny,
Oh, God, here we go.
Yeah, I'll have a guide open on my phone and then have The Office playing on my laptop next to me, so I'll have my headphone a little half off so I can listen to that while I play through. Yeah, it's great.
so much. And if you take any one of those away, you're like, God, I'm unproductive. And
Yes, that's why I do it. I'm like, man, I can do all these different things at once. I might as well do it. I need to make my time worth it.
Right. Well, here's the thing.
Well, I do this, and plus working like full time and like all the extra music stuff. I have to fit in my gaming.
Don't you
I have to
feel like
compress it.
time is going so fucking fast since we got this studio?
No, it feels like it's been so like we've only had it for about a straight up month, maybe a couple extra days. It feels like it's been like a quarter of a year to me. Like it's felt like a long time.
You've gotten that much done. A quarter of a year's worth of
Right.
stuff
it's
is
felt
all
like
compacted now.
Time feels a lot slower because I have so much extra shit I have to do.
I feel like
Interesting.
time.
But it also feels faster in a different way. Like I
feel
don't know
like
how to
there's.
explain it.
Oops.
That is interesting.
I feel like there's not enough time now.
Right. Well, yeah, it feels like there's not enough time to do all the things I want to do, but it feels like the time that I have to spend doing things is a lot slower.
I would love to hear people's like not boredom setup, but like I would love to hear what people do in that situation, like what you just described.
Yeah.
So you watch your YouTube videos at 1.5 speed.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Now, when I watch special features on Blu-rays, you can do 1.5 speed on the PlayStation 4.
Okay.
And at first, when you plug the headphones in, it's just a little bit fast, like blah, 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 but eventually your brain will catch up.
Your brain catches up. That's what's
Yes.
weird. Yeah.
That's really, and if you play it at regular speed,
You feel like they're
they
molasses.
talk like this, and it's so boring, and it's so bad to think that 20 years ago, we were just sitting and doing this.
Yep.
Oh,
Didn't even know
Jerry
the-
Seinfeld's a funny guy.
It's like overload now, yeah.
Oh,
it
yeah,
does.
just-
It feels like molasses when they slow down. It's like I can't watch this at normal speed. And, yeah.
Isn't it terrible that like I have the picture of my setup in 2015. I called it my screen. I was like 4-screen experience or something. I called it. It was really dumb. It was like Mitch's 4-screen experience, and I think on my phone I had like the interactive map. There was a while for where games were releasing companion apps. Remember those? They don't really do them anymore, but
That's not true.
not really
They
anymore.
do them all the time.
What for? What? Oh,
yeah.
Destiny.
Destiny has one. Grand Theft Auto pretty much always has one.
I'm Grand
2K Sports, like the basketball game, had one that I could upload my face to my player. I'm pretty sure Madden has one, or like companion apps that you can use. Maybe not
Alright.
direct game, but people make them so that you can.
I was talking about
fuss
real
with your
games,
stuff.
but okay.
Legend of Zelda. Wind Waker
real
had
games?
The, Wind Waker had the.
These are games played by more people than the fucking games you play, like Sekiro and shit.
Sekiro is the greatest game ever made.
It's not
It's
true.
been called that by Sekiro gamers.
No, the first companion app though, that was the Wind Waker. You meet up with Tingle, and then you
What?
could plug in your Game Boy
Oh my
Advance and
God,
find like
that's right.
hidden treasures that you could only find
I mean,
through
look
that.
at Pokemon Let's Go, and now because you can sync your phone up to that
Oh, yeah.
with your Pokemon Go app and shit. And
Don't even get me started on Pokemon.
Nope, don't get him
Don't
started.
like it?
China.
or
Well,
like
no,
it.
I mean, like I can't say that I'm really like up on the games, but it's very interesting watching the huge reaction to Sword and Shield now. The fact that they're not going to have all 1,000 Pokemon like in the game because
Oh,
they
yeah.
can't model them all or whatever.
Yep.
And people are like, no, that's BS. Like you guys have been Game Freak's been pooping out shit games since Generation 5, basically. Apparently, I don't know. I haven't played since Silver,
X
but.
and Y was good.
I haven't played since.
But they're not even
Ruby.
complete games. People are arguing. It's like you have this incomplete game, and then you have to come out with Black 2 to be able to actually flesh it out. Now you like don't even earn the legendary like Pokemon anymore. They just like hand it to you as like an Easter egg or whatever at the end of the game. There is no post game anything anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like how the games are constructed anymore. The games are like good, technically good, but
They're
like,
technically good,
yeah,
but it's just like
the construction's off.
yeah. And also like there's so many people. It's like you just can't take out the National Pokedex or whatever they're calling it.
I think the big problem is a lot of the fans are grown ups because they played it when they're younger, but they're making these games for kids still. Like
Exactly. Like I just look at the game.
loosen up, people. Come on.
I look at the game at face value before I heard all of like the backstory of people that have been growing up with, playing every generation. I'm like, personally, I think this looks like a great improvement. Now that you have like this overworld that you can run around in any direction. It's kind of what people
I
have
don't
been
like
waiting
that.
for.
I don't like that.
You don't like that?
No, I want top down, black and white.
I want it
fucking-
You want your
exactly
8-bit?
the same.
Yeah.
16-bit.
I could barely do Ruby. I was like, this is too much. This is too much color.
Too much color.
And I was like, oh, he's running. What the fuck?
Did you play 4th or 5th gen at all?
No. Oh man. No, it's too.
Fourth gen is prime.
Interesting.
I'm like
And
an
then fifth
old
gen's-
man, like waving my cane at
Fifth gen's
people.
the first
Just go
one
away.
that goes to like a different art style where it like becomes actual like almost 3D.
Yeah.
Like almost 3D. It's
Yeah.
not quite there yet.
Like I kept paying attention to the games as they came out. You know, you just follow whatever it is that they are adding to it. But I would never actually pick up the games, so I can't really say that I'm like angry about it. But the funniest meme that I seen was they took Pokemon and then turned it into the Snapping. You see that
Oh,
on Reddit?
yeah.
And so Pikachu's just like crying as everybody's like floating away or whatever. Yeah.
Jesus.
Pokemon movie was pretty good.
I freaking love that.
Pikachu, Detective Pikachu.
And then I got into like the YouTube like fan theory stuff and just thought it was really cool how they connected Ditto and Mewtwo and like confirmed this 20-year-old like Pokemon conspiracy from like the original 150 that the people creating Mewtwo couldn't create. They were originally trying to create Mew, and they were doing that through the Ditto DNA. And without Ditto, you wouldn't have Mewtwo. Like Ditto is a part of Mew and Mewtwo.
Right.
And I just never realized that. And then the fact that they like put that into the canon, right? I just thought that was very cool of them to do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did little fan service, like kind of a respect thing, where it's like, we wouldn't be anywhere without you, so here's a little nod towards you.
Yeah.
And I probably won't be getting Sword or Shield. I just want to.
I haven't bought a new Pokemon game in a while.
No.
The last one I bought was like X.
If they ever redo Ruby and Sapphire, maybe. I have Gold, Silver, and then digital
They
versions
did
of all
redo
of
Ruby
them.
and Sapphire actually.
Well, there you go.
Really?
Yeah. Now you
Omega,
have to.
Omega and
Yeah.
Alpha.
Yep.
I meant like, I'm sorry, I meant like re-released digitally, like the originals.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I have Soul Silver and I hate it.
Oh, you don't like the Soul versions?
I have Silver regular though.
Maybe, well, yeah, because the Soul versions are the 4th gen games. They're 4th gen remakes of the second ones. They like have all
Oh,
the
I
4th
see,
gen
yeah.
mechanics from
Okay,
like
yeah.
Pearl and Diamond.
And see, that was the most interesting thing because I didn't play any of the new ones, 3rd, 4th, 5th generation, but then they remade Soul Silver, and I ended up replaying the 2nd generation
I like
again.
Soul Silver and Heart Gold. Those are real good.
Yeah.
I don't.
You don't like the berries?
No. Too old. I don't like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but I love Gold and Silver.
Right. Because, well, it's just different.
If we went on about Pokemon, we'd be here for like another fucking hour. I'm sorry.
yeah,
otherwise
it's,
we'd have
it's
to
time to be done.
cut
It's the
it.
longest episode ever.
This is Mitch and I. We
No.
just keep talking.
This is not even close to the longest
We'll have
one.
to do a part 2.
I'd be fine with part 2, and then bring your guitar in
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
piano.
Bring your stuff.
Got anything else to say?
Nope, I love you all.
I love you too.
Stop by Thursday night at around 6:30 for our second show of the week.
Danielle.
It's going to be the roundtable episode with everybody.
What is it?
Well, remember we're doing the roundtables.
Oh, I thought we could just do another guest.
I guess that's fine too.
I mean, we can
Thought we were
have.
going to start with the structure here, man. You know?
No, there is no structure. That's why
structure is no
the
structure.
Well, stop
structure is no structure.
Stop by Thursday night for our next guest episode with Danielle.
Bring your boner.